Whiteley dabs it onto the toe and goes round the outside. Tom Whiteley, brilliant! Benter goes right through the middle, 3 options either side, but it's Don Morris. Hello everybody and welcome to the final rounds of the Trailfinders Challenge Cup. We are back where we started at Vallis Way, but we know so much more about the state of the 3 teams in the competition building up to the championship season at the start of March. What we've learned about Ealing is that they are in great condition. 3 wins from 3 matches. Doncaster have 2 losses from their 2 games, but they're building nicely within that, so there's a lot to play for today. And I'm delighted to be in the company once again of Charlie Walker and Jack Davies. Jack from Doncaster, Charlie from Ealing. Gents, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you, mate. How are you?
Very good, thank you very much. Jack, you right?
Yeah, very well. Just happy to be here.
Superb. Well, Charlie, starting with yourself, and at the start of the Trailfinders Challenge Cup, from the outside, it might have looked like it would be easy for Saracens. They would have progressed through and probably gone on to do the same in the championship as well. That hasn't happened, the first part, and the perception has changed a lot. I wonder what it's like on the inside though. Are Ealing getting more confidence from this, or did you always have this belief?
Yeah, I'm sure it did look that way from the outside, and you know, we've always had a quiet buzz going, certainly starting in pre-season. Just the squad that obviously you can see around the place that Wardy's put together, we were quietly confident, and we've put in some good performances over the last weeks in this trophy competition. But yeah, you can't underestimate, you know, the winning mentality that it takes throughout the week, and it's been really enjoyable the last couple of weeks, having some wins under our belt, and you know, we're hoping to get another good result this afternoon.
Jack, Charlie and Ealing have that winning mentality. It's the opposite for Doncaster, but things are going well. What have you picked out as positives so far across the 2 games?
Yeah, I think all in all we've been building in the right direction. There's a big turnover of players over the summer, new coaches coming in, etc. But I think the boys are really starting to gel now. You've seen that in the week in training. We've really gone after it this week, put a lot of things right from the first 2 games. Obviously we haven't been on the right side of the result, but I think yeah, we're building nicely. I think one thing that we can take pride in is the physicality that we showed against Saracens. Obviously had the pushover try. I think the scrum, the maul went well, and I think you need to have that against Ealing. You know what you're going to get with them, big physical pack, and especially with conditions nice and blustery here today, that's going to be massive for us. So you know, we've spoken about discipline in the week to limit the penalties. I think if we can do that, then we'll be in with a shout.
Yeah, penalties one of the things that really undid you when you were playing Ealing at Castle Park. It was a great game though, that, and both sides threw caution to the wind at times. Charlie, was that the style, was that the true Ealing Trailfinders that we saw in that Doncaster match in the second half when everything opened up, or was it perhaps more the Saracens, the considered style when you were attacking their weaknesses?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's certainly in the right direction, but there's a lot more I think we want to offer. Especially as a backline, we want to get involved more in the game, and I know heard Wardy speak about it, that we might see a few more opportunities out wide today against Doncaster, which obviously from the past, obviously playing against Sarries, you know, you have to change your game slightly and kind of adjust and play them a bit of their own game, because you know they're going to be really strong out wide and they'll compete, so you probably have to play them a bit more through the middle. So hopefully today, I know it's getting a bit rainy now and a bit blustery, but hopefully we'll see some nice running rugby, because I know Donny would like to throw the ball around as well.
Yeah, there are traditionally tries in this contest as well down the years. Well, we're going to be building up with the guys next to me, but firstly we're going to have a little video to find out a little bit more about the great complex that Ealing Trailfinders are building at Vallis Way.
Sean, I hear we have some exciting news pre-Christmas, re a new indoor sports facility at Trailfinders Sports Club. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a nice early Christmas present. For most of last year, we'd started to put plans together for a facility funded by the Mike Goody Trailfinders charity, privately funded. We wanted the facility to be a cricket centre, an indoor 3G, 4G facility for rugby football, and then changing rooms and office space and treatment rooms. So I guess sort of a 3-section building. But yeah, the plans and obviously the process to get to planning was a long one, but we received a positive response from planning just before Christmas. So yeah, delighted to announce that we can get building, and we start this week.
When will the facility be ready for use?
Yeah, so scheduling a 7-month build, starting this week. A relatively soft start, as you could imagine, for it's a £4 million facility, so hell of a lot of groundworks and redirection of services and that type of thing, and compound building to begin with. But it's a 7-month build from start to finish, so in a way that works nicely and ties in with the start of next season, for rugby season in particular, and also moving into that winter nets season for the cricket club here. So the timing's worked out perfectly.
How do you see the all-weather pavilion being used, and how much value do you think it'll add to the site?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll add huge value. The site now is, it has to be one of the best training facilities across all facilities in the country now. It's the investment from Mike Gooley Trailfinders Charity in recent years has been tremendous. In recent years we built the mini pavilion. We've built a 1,000-seater stand. We've added the giant screen. We've added 2 gymnasiums. The list goes on and on. I think this facility is huge in that it allows us a facility that is weatherproof. It allows us to train. Unfortunately, the majority of winter days here are miserable. So that's a big plus for us, and also adding to the cricket club's growth to have a 3-lane cricket indoor facility and to allow that growth and skill development over the winter months is massive.
You mentioned about the cricket as well as the rugby. What else have we got inside that new pavilion as well?
Yeah, giving a bit more detail on all of those things, I mentioned the cricket is a 3-lane indoor cricket net facility with a viewing balcony, with all the ECB approved lucks and surfaces in there. So that will be a facility that's fit for professional cricketers, but also a facility that will enable our resident club, Ealing Trailfinders Cricket Club, to develop their youth programme, but also appeal to local schools and clubs in the area and really try and grow cricket usage on the site, which the charity is really passionate about. The rugby facility, it's a half rugby football pitch in dimensions, but again that flips to a junior rugby or football pitch, deliberately designed that way with a dividing curtain down the middle so you can split the facility in two. And for the same reasons mentioned for the cricket, I mean, that's going to be huge for local clubs, our resident clubs, in just getting more sport played on this amazing site. I think if you look at rugby specific, it's right up there now. Obviously, there's some clubs that have made big investments like ourselves in facilities, but I think to have everything on one site, especially in current climate with COVID, is such a huge benefit. But I mean, when we get through COVID, I would imagine we are right up there now. We have amazing gym facilities. We now have an indoor training facility. We have amazing outdoor artificial pitches and grass pitches. It's an incredible site. We're really lucky.
Well, welcome back. As you've seen, plenty of plans afoot at Ealing Trailfinders, and so much support that this club has received over the years, particularly from Trailfinders, and we're just going to play out an advert of them and also of one of their other sponsors, Lords.
Find your escape. Find your surprise. Find your adventure. Find your exotic.
Find your freedom.
Find your wild side. Find yourself.
Trust Trailfinders, guaranteeing your travel since 1970.
From some great sponsors to some great work that Ealing Trailfinders are doing in the community, and we're going to hear about a new initiative, the Ealing Trailfinders Foundation.
Hi there, my name is Danny Harlow. I am Head of Community at Ealing Trailfinders. We have had a really busy year over the last 12 months, and we're really proud to launch the Ealing Trailfinders Foundation. Our main aims, really we'd love to impact as many people's lives in a positive way and really create loads of opportunities for them to take part in sport. We have excellent facilities here at Trailfinders Sports Club. We've got football, rugby, netball, tennis, all kinds of stuff, cricket, and we're trying to create as many opportunities as we can for people to come out, enjoy sport and enjoy the awesome facilities we've got here. We have several projects already underway, one of which is really important to us is our inner city projects. We have several partnerships with schools and facilities in Hammersmith, and we're trying to create sporting opportunities for boys and girls, men and women, to take part in a variety of different sports, and basically get them outside and enjoying sport and activity again. Obviously the lockdowns have been really, really hard on all of us. And now more than ever, it's really important to get back outside as restrictions lift and get taking part in physical activity, especially team sports, get those relationships back up and running, get all the benefits, all the fun and enjoyment of taking part in sport, and the physical and mental well-being that comes with that. The inner city projects are really important. Hammersmith and Fulham and around there, facilities are hard to come by, and access to sporting opportunities is very difficult. It's really important that we continue to grow these relationships with the local councils and provide these opportunities for people to participate in sport. For those athletes that are really outstanding as well and show aspirational goals, we can also link them into our pathways through Henley and Brunel University as well, to provide better sporting opportunities and hopefully a journey to our first team. Another way we're making a difference in the local community is our partnership with the Ealing Food Bank. They've seen a huge increase in demand over the last 12-18 months, and it was really important for us to get on board and help them. We've hosted loads of food drives, created a permanent drop-off bin at the Trailfinders Sports Club, and so far we have raised probably around 4 or 5 tons of food, which we've donated to Ealing Food Bank, who are part of the Trussell Trust. That's been a really important relationship over this last year, and it's something we're going to look to continue to support as time goes on, and the demand for the food bank continues to rise. As mentioned at the start, our main aim is to be the #1 sports provider in West London, hopefully the whole of London. So if you guys would like to help us on that journey, please check out our website, and there's various ways to donate. Also, if you'd like to partner with us for a project to help us to spread the good work that we're doing, my email can be found on the website as well, so please get in touch.
Find your escape. Find your surprise. Find your adventure. Find your exotic.
Find your freedom.
Find your wild side. Find yourself.
Trust Trailfinders, guaranteeing your travel since 1970.
It's been a nice moment of solace, that Trailfinders advert, hasn't it, across the course of this competition, where we've been in the rain and in the cold. Actually, we're in almost similar climes at the moment. The sun is coming out, which is most welcome. We've got time to talk about a little wider context as well, gents, with the Championship on the horizon, just 2 weeks away now. Of course, promotion has been confirmed. No relegation from the Premiership, but promotion confirmed. I mean, Ealing could be doing it within 4 months if everything goes well, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we kind of speak about. We're in the middle of this competition at the moment, so that's kind of the focus. And then, as you said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be week in, week out. And as everyone says, the championship season is a very tough league. And even if you put games week in, week out, it's going to be even harder. There's going to be a lot of pressure on teams, but it makes for it to be really interesting. So yeah, boys, thoroughly looking forward to it.
As professionals in the Championship, having that mentality, knowing that there is a ladder you can climb and that one that you could drop through, not this season, but normally, that's got to be important to have at the back of your mind.
Yeah, I think definitely. Especially in our squad, I know Ealing is exactly the same. There's a lot of people there, either through the club or through the opportunities that the club give them, that want to progress to the next level and even up to international rugby. And I think if you close the loop, then there's no way of doing that. And you've seen from the World Cup just gone how many players have had championship experience, how many players have progressed through the national leagues. I think, for me, I think it's essential that pathway exists for the boys that potentially miss out on academy pathways, that miss out through university or wanting to go and get a job. They still have the opportunity to play good level of rugby with a means of progressing up the ranks.
In terms of Doncaster this season, last season you finished 10th, I think, points adjusted down. Your ambitions are much higher than that, of course, but the fact there's no relegation to the National One, does that change things at all within the club? Has that been spoken about?
No, it hasn't been spoken about. I think, like Charlie said, we're very much focused on this competition at the moment. Obviously results haven't gone our way, but we're building something nice and the feeling in camp is good. And I think, looking forward, we'll take, I know it's a cliche and it's an overused cliche, but we'll take each week as it comes, each day as it comes, and try and get better every day. And then at the end of the season, the points don't lie.
Well, Jack, I know today you're taking time to join us here. There's no injury trouble with you, just having a game out, aren't you? Is that right?
Yeah.
Charlie, of course, you're maybe only, who knows how long away. Tell us, how long are you away from maybe being fit?
Like we said, each week it's kind of step by step, but I'm enjoying doing the commentary at the moment, getting the running back on the pitch, so a bit of energy in the legs. Hopefully be joining training within the next month.
That was really good news as well. Will be great to have your comments in commentary as well. For now, though, we are going to hear from the coaches, and we're going to start with Nathan Smith of Doncaster Knights. Nathan Smith, you're standing in for your Director of Rugby today. We understand there's some happy news in the Bowden household.
Yeah, really happy for Steve and his partner Emma. Obviously they've had a baby girl this morning, so he can't be at the game today. So yeah, congratulations to both of them. Yeah.
So you're stepping into their shoes. I imagine no change to the plan.
No change to the plan whatsoever. So it's what we've been doing all week. Obviously, me and Joe Ford are taking over looking after it, I'd say. But yeah, no change obviously there.
In terms of the selection then, how much is this a reflection of a first team selection after 2 games? You've managed to see everyone play now.
Yeah, I think it's a strong selection, definitely. We don't ultimately know whether it's our strongest first 15, but it's definitely a selection where we're putting a strong 15 out to really have a go at Ealing today, yeah.
Well, there was some positives to come out of the Saracens game last week. Charlie Foley in commentary talked about critical outcomes at the club, and how much did you achieve your critical outcomes against Saracens?
Yeah, I think you go into a game with a list of stuff you want to achieve, and definitely we ticked a number of those points off. Obviously, there's bits and pieces that weren't where we thought they should be, and probably what pushed the scoreline further in Saracens' favour. But as a performance-wise against an experienced Saracens team, we were pretty happy where we were. It's just a case of we can't be happy where we are. We've got to keep on building and obviously moving forward.
What were those particular positive points you took from it?
I think across the board, both games, our intensity in D's been excellent. Like, I think set piece wise, we've improved, and we've got a lot more ball in hand against Saracens, so we could really have a look at our attack. Whereas probably the first game against Ealing, we didn't get much ball, to be honest. So we're hoping today as well we get a similar amount of possession, and we can see an improvement there, which I'm sure we will do.
Is there anything from the last game up at Castle Park against Ealing that you'll be looking to change?
Penalties, definitely. The amount of penalties we gave away was just, if you give that many penalties away, especially when you've got a 10 that can kick to the corner like they have and a set piece to match, you're leaving yourself a bit of a difficult task. But discipline wise is a key focus for us. We can't give away that many penalties again, for sure.
Well, I hope that facet of the game goes well, and I hope you have a good game as well. Cheers for your time.
No, perfect. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well, Ben, with one game to go, you've got the Trailfinders Challenge Cup sewn up. How good does that feel?
Yeah, look, it's been fantastic to get some competitive rugby back in, and we're delighted to obviously have got a few victories. I think for the players and staff alike, it's just having something to aim for every week, and competitive rugby, it's been fantastic to have it back.
Just the fact that you've got the cup in the bag, and it's a lovely cup that it is over there as well, does it change the mission brief for today at all?
No, not at all. Again, we want to win every single game. We want to keep developing ahead of the league programme starting, and today's just another step to be doing that.
If we look at how Ealing have played across the course of the 3 games, and it's been tight at times but it's been open as well, how is the style developing, and what will perhaps change today?
Well, first and foremost, I think the conditions are really good today, so we're hopeful to see some good running rugby. I think the difference when you play a side like Sarries, you do have to adjust how you play, and again you pick and choose where you feel that they're weak. Against Doncaster it's no different, but we think that we can exploit them in different areas, and hopefully that'll be reflected on the score today.
What areas would you be targeting with Doncaster?
We certainly feel there's probably going to be a bit more space out wide than there would be against the Saracens, where we felt the space was a lot tighter. So again, our speed to get set, our speed to attack, our speed at everything we do stuff today will be really important, and I'm sure on the flip side of that they'll be trying to slow us down.
Personal question, can I take you back to 2016 and the last result that Doncaster got here, the only result was a draw, 17-0. You were the fly half that day. I think you may have had a chance to win the match from the tee. Do you have any recollections of that day?
Certainly not, especially if I had a chance to win the game. No, not at all, to be honest. I think as a club we've been on a massive journey though, and we've always been, throughout the last couple of years, we've been improving. And I certainly think we've got some consistency to our game, to our squad now, and again I guess it just shows how far we've come as a club. I think Doncaster coming today with a really strong side. It's going to be a real tough challenge for us, and it's a real test of where we're at.
Well, best of luck.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers for your time. Thoughts there of Ben Ward and Nathan Smith, and let us extend our own congratulations to Steve Bowden on the birth of his daughter this morning. Very, very good news all round. 2 to matches today, and here are Ealing Trailfinders starting 15. They have shuffled their cards for this final match as they look to go 4 from 4. So into the back line comes Jack Tovey, Angus Kernahan and Stephen Shingler. Shingler partnering Craig Hampson and ever present in the competition for Ealing Trailfinders. Tovey is partnering Pat Howard, the robust South African, on the inside centre, and Kernahan is mixed up with David Johnson and Luke Daniels. In the pack, Rain Smid, Guy Thompson and Adam Korchik make a formidable back row. Guy Thompson has stood out across the course of this competition, in particular his work on the floor, so watch out for him. James Cannon and Bobby DeVere are reunited in the second row, and in the front row it makes impressive reading. Elliot Miller-Mills is back in the tight head shirt. Alan Walker and Will Davies are up front. So to Doncaster. And this represents, as we heard Nathan Smith say, their strongest team at the moment, or at least a very strong team at the moment. They have had data from 2 games now to crunch over, and this is what Steve Bowden and his team have come up with. Tom Bacon, Carl Evans and Howard Packman are in the back 3. Evans so aggressive and on the score sheet when Ealing last played up at Castle Park. Harry Strong and Mark Best form the centre pairing. At halfback, Sam Olver and James Mitchell are reformed again after a break last weekend, and the back row has carrying a plenty in Guido Volpe and Sam Graham. Connor Joyce has a first start on the blind side after impressing off the bench against Saracens. Jerry Sexton and Matt Challenger are in the second row. Challenger returning to the side in a starting capacity and captaining it as well. And in the front row, Joe Jones is the only player to have been an ever-present in the starting 15 for Doncaster across the course of the Trailfinders Challenge Cup. He is in the tight head. George Roberts has a first start as well at hooker, and then Robin Bomber Hislop is in the front row. So here's how the bench looks, and talent aplenty wherever you look, really. Sean Moulton has been impressive in all capacities when he's entered the fray. George Davis, Harry Seward and Ben West are the replacements for the front five. Kieran Murphy, who's performed really well actually across the course of the competition, he has a role from the bench today. Jordan Burns, who we haven't seen enough of in this competition, but watch out if he gets a run, he's lightning. And Craig Willis is deputising to Stephen Shingler this afternoon. James Cordy-Reddin has shaken off a knock and is on the bench for Doncaster. Charlie Foley has done likewise, and he is in the number 23 jersey. Billy McBride is back there as well. Sam Pocklington and John Kelly, Matt Smith, Gareth Denman, Will Holling and Conrad Cade make up the substitutions. So just before we start now, we're just going to take a moment really whilst Doncaster come onto the pitch. They managed to pay their respects earlier this week, but we want to take a moment to remember the life of Ian Williams, who died 3 years ago today. Ian was a Doncaster Knights player at the time of his death, but was someone who will be fondly remembered far and wide in rugby circles, having made an impact wherever he played, for Rotherham, for London Welsh, for Richmond, for Oxford University, for Swansea University, for Bridgend Ravens, for RGC 1404 and for Bath. Yesterday the Knights were paying their own tribute to Ian when they went down to the training pitch where 3 years ago Ian came out to train and never returned. And up here we're going to take a moment's silence as well. So kick-off just moments away as the Knights line up on the left-hand side of the screen, playing left to right in the first half. Sarah Cox is going to be our referee in the middle, and Sam Olver will be kicking us off. Doncaster have never won down here at Vallis Way. What a time this would be to change that statistic. Sam Olver goes high away to the left, and Rain Smid comes forward but claimed by Doncaster. Brilliant start for the Knights. And Guido Volpe goes to work onto the 22. Perfect from the kickoff by Doncaster. James Mitchell, brother of Alex Mitchell, who is in action for Northampton Saints down at Sandy Park this afternoon. He has a run in the 9 shirt and another run, uncompromisingly so, in the loose head jersey from Robin Hislop, captain last week, but just deputising to Matt Chandler this afternoon. Bright start from Doncaster, and Jack Davies and Charlie Walker have joined me. Very good set from the kickoff, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. Ideal restart really there. First couple of seconds, get the ball back and have a go.
Make sure you hold, okay? Stay and hold.
So part of Ealing Trailfinders' success in this competition has come a lot from the running, or the rolling ball I should say. It's been running at times, that's for sure. Alan Walker, when he has the ball at the back. 2 tries against Saracens for the Scots when they beat them here on the 16th of November, and at speed already. Hampson goes down the blind side, and Trailfinders opening up right from the beginning. Endeavour, but ultimately coming back on Doncaster's side, and something which we haven't seen all that much of, that particular move, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of deja vu here. I think every kick-off at the start of the game we've messed up in this tournament. Then it's kind of a bit of a wake-up call, and then we do something good. Obviously against Sarries it was the box kick, and we get the ball back, and now we've gone 20 metres down the blind side, and hopefully the boys are a bit more awake now.
Take at the front of the lineup was from Joyce, former Ireland under-20s captain. And Mitchell goes long with his kick downfield. Hardly a box. Goes for ground, and Daniels taken by surprise. He fields it. Tom Bacon looks to support Mitchell. And Mitchell this time goes high. on to his opposite number, Hampson, and Bacon takes him down. Try score against Ealing after just 2 minutes at Castle Park, but employed in the fetching and carrying role.
I think that's something Doncaster might look to exploit. Our scrum half in the backfield, obviously they could put a lot of pressure on him, especially with the high ball. It's pretty windy out there, as we've seen. I think Lukey Daniels probably, if he had a bit more time and was a bit more settled into the game, maybe could have let the ball go because it was rolling at some speed, but first 5 minutes of the game, you're a bit nervous, you want to play yourself into it, so he's done the right thing, and hopefully we can exit out of our own 22 safely here.
Walker goes to Rain Smith. Another one of Ealing's ever-presence in this competition. 28-year-old South African. He looks to be in very good condition ahead of the season for Trailfinders, just 2 weeks away, of course. And the winds here, blowing at the backs of Ealing and then swirling around a little bit, it seems, as well. Traditionally, over the course of recent seasons anyway, there has been points aplenty in this contest. 11 tries last time the two played in Doncaster 2-3 weeks ago. Mark Best was setting up one of them. Olver was a top performer for Doncaster, but that time a little bit loose. And Jack, let us in a little bit on what you've been working on this week in training in terms of attacking capacity.
Yeah, I think it's about imposing ourselves on them. We spoke a lot about going through them first, earning the right to go wide. Obviously, traditionally we've been a team that wants to play wide, that's had the players to play wide, but if you don't have that dominance up front, then it's going to be difficult to go wide when it's on. So a lot of chat in the week about direct running, getting over the gain line, getting speed of ball, and then to play wide when it's on.
Craig Hampson checks the orders with Rainsmith. Inviting position this. It's interesting to see how that halfback relationship will work with Craig Hampson and Stephen Shingler. It's been working a charm with Craig Willis across the course of the competition, but Shingler now with a chance and the full 80. He's had some marvellous touches off the bench. Steve Shingler setting up a couple of tries late on in the match at Castle Park between these two. On a beautifully weighted chip for David Johnston. Doncaster so impressive at this facet of the game against Saracens. Penalty to Trailfinders.
Straight in and collapse.
Jack, with your scrummaging hat on, what went wrong there?
Oh, well, I think scrums these days are very subjective, aren't they? Obviously we had a good time against Sarries last week, got the pushover try, and I think Joe will be unhappy there. But hopefully we'll fix that for the next one, and we'll try and get parity.
Yeah, I think I remember you celebrating like a maniac when the penalty try was muscled over against Saracens.
Yeah, it's fairly likely that would have been me. But this is exactly what we said before the game. Ealing get penalties, we're playing into their hands there, really playing into their driving more. We know what they're going to come with, and we've got to limit their opportunities, really.
Shingler looking good, and Tovey gets his first hands on the ball in an attacking capacity. The Bristolian in the starting lineup for the first time in 10 long months. Hampson, great opportunity this from early doors, and it will be a stroll over David Johnston. Trailfinders signing in for work after just 6 minutes.
Boys will be really happy with that. I think as Jack was just saying, you probably expected the driving more there, and it's something we've kind of probably over the last 3 or 4 weeks is what we've been going to, because it's been working for us, and there's been a slight focus this week to try and attack a bit wider. Certainly the game away at Doncaster, the first 5 minutes or so we played straight into their hands, and we just got whacked behind the gain line and we got no momentum for it, so there was a bit more space out wide, and it was nice to see us actually shift the ball that time. Again, just from the last couple of weeks, it's just getting the ball out at the right time. You get inside the 22, you let the forwards do their work. You know, they've got to get you quick ball, get some momentum going, and then as soon as it's the right time, if one of the backs like DJ's done there, it's got to be perfect delivery from the 9, and that time it was. Saw a mismatch and took it.
Second try in 2 games against Doncaster for David Johnston, and Stephen Shingler off the mark with the boot.
It's just good feet. It's very simple, isn't it? I think it's a mismatch, or he's just caught him on his heels, but you can't go either way. And yeah, great finish by DJ.
It's the type of gap, Charlie, which you normally zoom through.
There we go. Another messy restart.
It's gone Doncaster's way. Managed to frustrate. Something we saw Saracens being not so adept at when Ealing took their scalp at the Stone X 2 weeks ago. But this time Doncaster causing problems at that facet. Mitchell has Olver, and options here with Challoner. Ever more organised feel about Doncaster in each match in pre-season. Bomber Hislop just gives it to his fly half, and penalty comes.
Yeah, I think it's good shape there, good play, and that's what we said in the week, is we want to keep the ball, we want to play in the right areas and give it a go, see what Ealing have got defensively, and we'll back ourselves there to keep our shape, and rightly so, we'll take the points and ease our way into the game.
I presume it would be something that other teams would look at playing against Ealing at the moment. Our kick-off receipt has not been, obviously I've mentioned it quite a few times over the weeks, but it's not been where we want it to be. We've conceded a lot of territory, a lot of possession, and probably at this stage 3 points the way Sam Olver was kicking, so it's something we need to sort out, and it's probably not an easy fix that's going to come in the short term, but before the season starts it's something that we need to put a bit of time into.
Doncaster's top point scorer, Sam Olver, an equal top point scorer in the division in the shortened season that was.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. No, they're doing really well on that, so if you get a chance on the way back, mate, just have a mention.
One of the returning faces this season. Sam Olver in a nice jersey, so many changes of personnel coming over the summer. But Olver, a consistent presence. And he nails the 3 first off. 7-3, Trailfinders lead.
Yeah, I think that's a good response from the boys there, really. They'll be disappointed with that. Easy, quick ball off of the line out, and good response. Pressure the error from the kickoff, and then away we go.
So points arriving so far at Vallis Way. It's a glorious day to play rugby, and that's a glorious offload indeed. Mark Best, superb. Howard Packman then gets the ball on, and well, that was building nicely. Chance for Trailfinders from the back with Johnston, and now Range Smith is launching onto the ball. Shingler was up in support. Knock-ons on both sides. Now this is as open as it's been in pre-season. Doncaster looking to play, and it was something that marked out their performance against Saracens was the second half. They decided to play almost from wherever they were on the pitch. And Jack Davies, is that something that was talked about last week at halftime?
Yeah, I think, it's a risky game plan at times. It can get you into trouble, but for a lot of the boys last week, and certainly now, they haven't played in 12-13 months, so there's always going to be, you can either take the tentative approach and play safe, or boys can go out there and express themselves. So yeah, it's definitely something that we spoke about in the week.
Mark Best with a beautiful offload. Former estate agent Mark Best, back in Belfast when rugby wasn't quite working for him. Trailfinders get a squeeze on, and Mitchell is quick. Penalties worked.
Hand in, flick the ball back in.
Craig Hampson very, very happy. And Angus Kernahan wants this to be taken quickly on the far side of the pitch, just out of shot. I'd say just well out of shot. He's as far as you can be. He's almost in the caravan park here at Vallis Way.
Yeah. Of course.
But the protocol is for the corner. Howard Packman there, in a bit of space for the first time, but unable to make things tick for Doncaster. Trailfinders ominous from these positions. It's how they broke Doncaster in the first game at Castle Park, and it's been stopped just short. Sarah Cox will have a long look. Desperation stuff this, Jack, but doing the job.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the touchy says, but like I said earlier in the game, you know what you're going to get with Ealing. They're going to come with a big driving line out, and it's just about doing absolutely everything you can to stop that. And it looks like we've managed to get a penalty out of it as well, so the boys will be chuffed with that.
Interesting call from our cameras. It did look like a try, but no TMO available in this match, just our cameras, so we're seeing pictures that the referees aren't. Sarah Cox and Rob Warburton, the assistant referee, giving a penalty to Doncaster. Well, whether that's fair or not, it makes things a little closer.
Yeah, good opportunity to launch ourselves into the game here, get a bit of territory, get a bit of possession, and hopefully come away with a penalty or some points.
George Roberts finds his man. First start of the season for the Welshman, signed in the summer. And James Mitchell sends that one into orbit. That was a huge kick from the scrum half. Luke Daniels, right wing today, but playing in a fullback role at the moment. Tom Bacon gets off his heels. Mitchell has numbers here to work with Doncaster. Guido Volpe. But Volpe not quite getting into the rhythm of things, and the ball will come back on the Ealing side somehow.
It was a nice shake that from Doncaster. They actually won the kick battle. The territory game, they got it back into our half from the initial 1v1 kick, and then it's just unfortunate going into touch. Can't quite see who made the tackle from here, but good to get them into touch, and that would be a result from us, and we'd like to get back into their half now, get back to where we just came from, and get them with another point scoring opportunity.
So Guy Thompson is in the scrum half role, and Ealing works something right at the front, and now Thompson comes through. It's lovely offload to Alan Walker, who steps the hooker, then gives the offload back to Thompson. 7-2 and back to 7. Brilliant. Walker now spins it out, trying his hand at fly half. Big hit coming in, Shingler, and will be called back there. The interplay, something to marvel at.
That's one way of getting there, isn't it? As we said, Alan Walker on the ball shows an outrageous dummy, and great cover tackle there, wraps the ball up as well.
Always nice to see a big fella moving like a back.
They're two of the shrewdest operators ball in hand, aren't they? Guy Thompson.
Another big opportunity for Ealing here. I think the boys will be disappointed with that. Easy win down. Oh, sorry, mate.
I like the way we're mixing up at the moment. As Jack said, Doncaster will be looking for the driving more than the first one we went wide. These two down here, we've actually hit the driving maul. Might come away with something this time.
This time it will be. Sarah Cox has her arm in the air. Trailfinders get a second, and this time it is through the Barrow boys.
And that's the blueprint. I think that's the Ealing blueprint there. You've seen they've sucked the forwards in, took a quick one down the front, made 30 yards, penalty advantage, play wide, it's not on, they'll kick to the corner, and they're a difficult team to stop from 5 metres out. I think that's something we really got to look at in this game is like we said, limiting that territory and those entries into the 22.
Yeah, just where you are.
It's a finely oiled tank engine. The rolling ball for Ealing. It must be quite a ride for these two gents behind it. Shingler and Hampson. So much experience in both their boots. Stephen Shingler, someone who has nearly 350 points in the colours of the Scarlets, and actually made his name in colours not dissimilar to Ealing's at London Irish right at the start of his career. And he absolutely nails that.
Let's see if they can tidy up the restart this time.
Yeah, it's the one part of the game that is misfiring for Trailfinders. Otherwise, a brilliant beginning.
Is that something you've spoke about during the week? Our kick receipt or not really?
Funnily enough, no, not really. Haven't really spent a lot of time on kick receipt, more so on the kicking battle. But again, that's a good chase from the boys, and hopefully we can put some pressure on this exit now.
Hampson hasn't been rushed all competition. Former Wasps scrum half. He's looked composed throughout.
That's a great take.
Great take indeed. Tom Bacon. Now Joe Jones. Welsh player from Wrexham. He's one of the Irish contingent. Connor Joyce. Mitchell to Olver, and now Bomber Hislop. So prominent in the early exchanges against Saracens. Volpe is enveloped. Although there's loads of options. Configuration changes. David Johnson just watches that one go. It's all the way out. The wind taking it somewhat, and we're on halfway.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate outcome, that really. I think in terms of game management, right decision. The wind hasn't helped it there, but you know, I think that's something we struggled against last week with Sarries. Is overplaying in the middle third, so it's good recognition there from Mitch. But you know, with the wind how it is today, it's a tricky kick.
Here's that try again, and
yeah,
pick out who it was at the bottom. And you've got better eyes than me.
Doesn't mean I know what's going on in the mall.
Mark Best has found a little bit of space, and the ball beats everyone.
Yeah, and that's going back to what I was saying, is try and win that territory battle with the wind how it is, with the conditions how they are. You know, if we can keep Ealing playing in their 22, then that's job done for us.
I'll have a quick word now.
It was 2 weeks until the first match of the championship against Nottingham for Ealing Trailfinders at Lady Bay, and against Amptill away for Doncaster. It's nice to have the roadmap fully in the diary now. And if you've got any questions, by the way, from Trailfinders fans or Doncaster fans, then put them to us. We're using the hashtag ETFVDon,
Just on the kicks through.
and we'll be answering as many of your questions as we can get to at half time.
He was just a little bit.
And if Steve Bowden, you're watching as well from home, which we understand you are, well, do let us know your coach's summary for half time. That would be nice indeed. You can also comment on how well Jack Davies manages to sum up what's going on as well. That'll be a nice test for him. Rainsmith takes the ball short. It's worked well for Ealing. Trailfinders at odds with the performance so far, or the tournament, playing it out of their 22 only for a moment. It's come off the top end of Craig Hampson's shin. Taken well by his opposite number, Mitchell. Bomber Hislop sets Doncaster off, and there's a zip in the play now. Best plays first receiver, and Bacon comes to the line. Carl Evans is outside him. Doesn't get to the Welshman. Matt Challoner stoops and then straightens his frame and does well. Best. Tackling is good from Guy Thompson. Tackling is rarely anything other than good from Guy Thompson. Guido Volpe, on loan from the Ospreys, the Argentinian, in Doncaster colours. Defence very composed from Ealing. Sam Graham. He impressed in all facets of the game.
No, leave it.
At the end of January against Trailfinders. There's a carry there. Olver wants chasers after this, and we will come back and to pick the bones out of that attack jacket. Good turnover ball to get there, but Trailfinders defence quite smart.
Yeah, I think we're actually seeing a bit of a shift in defensive mentality from Ealing. I think if you were to come into the game, you'd expect with the back row they've picked, the 6 and the 7, to be jackling quite a lot on the floor, but they seem to be leaving the rucks at the moment and getting men on feet and just hitting us behind the gain line. It's difficult to play rugby when you're getting 2 metres, 3 metres off you every time. But as we say that, opportunity to win the ball back, and here we go.
George Roberts doesn't need second helping.
Yeah, we just keep the mark for me.
Star of the Welsh Premiership last season, getting a chance for the first time for the Knights. Mitchell, Olver, chips over, Packman is running after it. Still with Packman, he's so elusive when he starts to wind up his foot.
Okay, no advantage comes, he's absolutely fine, we come back.
And that promising attack will come back for a penalty.
Okay, cool.
I think that just shows, the attacking threat that we've got. When we do play on top, it's just about playing in the right areas of the pitch and not coughing up the ball. The game plan, execution, kicking-wise, hasn't quite been there at the moment, but when we've got the ball in hand and when we've made meters, we look good.
For Doncaster, the pressure adding up.
Careful where we're coming from.
Sustained territory now. What can they make of it? Roberts will be asked to find his man, the North Walian. Joyce just gets it down. Mitchell dances around. Doncaster's forwards have to tidy. Hislop. Doesn't need a second invitation for that. Inroads being sneaked around the ruck. Trailfinders still patient. This is interesting from Mitchell putting it behind, but some of the shortest dead ball areas you can find in rugby here at Ealing, and that goes straight out.
You've got to be behind the back foot, hands up.
Plans afoot here.
The issue we've got is you're in front of the back foot and you've got your hands on the floor.
Forwards go again.
Offside. Then you made the tackle that when they came.
Jack from here, you'll know what the call will be.
Hands up and get onside.
Yeah, but I won't be saying it on TV. No, it's a good opportunity here, good shot. Had similar one to Sarri's in the game last week and we didn't take it, so we'll be hungry here.
Taken down well, and the drive comes on. The red shirts coalesce. Trailfinders dig their heels in, send some short-range missiles in to try and stop it breaking out. Hislop taken down. Lonely time for Doncaster's backs as they just allow their forwards to soften up. Trailfinders round the ruck. A game of patience.
No, I got ball out there, mate.
A game of centimetres too.
I got ball out at the back. That's right.
Trailfinders shutting out all comers.
Hands out.
Guy Thompson at the heart of it. Still they managed to push Doncaster back. Still, Doncaster have the ball. And the penalty.
Could be a talking to here, I'm not sure that's a few penalties. No, it doesn't look like it, but we've put ourselves under pressure here because this has all came from an overthrow from the line out, normally an area of the game which is so strong for us. One overthrow and then we've actually had a few opportunities to get out of it that they've given us from poor kicks, and we're just compiling mistakes, and now we're under a lot of pressure. That they've spent probably a few minutes in our own 22, and it'll be taking it out of the boys, and we need to keep the discipline right, because otherwise going down a man will really put us under more pressure.
Sorry, Phil, I didn't see you there. Sorry, I didn't know. Oh, I thought you were asking me a question about something else. Oh, of course you can, yeah, absolutely. He's just going to get treated, that's all. No, so on that one, I had the ball out the side of it. Got you.
He never got back on them with hands and feet. My bad language.
Oh, sorry, mate, yeah. Fine, no problems. Yeah. We've got to get those hands up, and we've got to get them back foot.
So the technical breakdown work of Trailfinders. Falling foul of Rob Warburton and Sarah Cox.
Yeah. So look, when you're defending at the moment, there's a couple. I had ball out on the last one, but the one before that, he's his hands on the floor and he's offside. So we need to get this up when we're defending here. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. He's getting treated anyway.
I think this stoppage will probably suit Ealing at the moment. Momentum seems to be with Donny at the moment, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to just regroup, cool heads, and go again for this defensive set. Last drive and more went really well to start with, so hopefully they'll be able to finish it off here.
Joyce towers high, and again Knights set themselves. Try and get their fruit lorry rolling. Making some inroads too. Trailfinders desperately pulling it down.
Could be a yellow card on the way now.
Sam Graham. Mitchell goes back to the short side. It's intercepted by Craig Hampson. Sarah Cox wants words.
There we go.
And it is Will Davis who is going to be given 10 minutes. Yeah, that was coming.
Yeah, crucial period now. I think we've got to capitalise and get points here. Down to 10 men, down to 14 men, and for 10 minutes, got to capitalise. Been a couple of opportunities in a row now. We've looked good. We've set them all, but we've got to come away with points here.
I don't know what these breaking plays are, who it is. Oh, we're getting treatment. That makes a bit more sense, because I'm sure Donny won't want to be slowing it down now. They'll want to keep the pressure on, go through, and so I presume he'll be alright.
Yeah, I wonder if that was tactical.
No comment.
Yeah, I hate to be George Roberts at the moment.
Yeah, pull them all down.
Big stop in play. Every possible line-out call going for your head. A lot of pressure on this throw, but I'm backing him to nail it.
Yeah, the wind's starting to rear up too, so George Roberts on his first start.
He's left his water bottles here.
That's a big line-out.
Set over a second. There you go. Come on.
Goes to his captain Challoner. Safety first. And they concede a few inches initially, but now get themselves going again.
We need to get us moving forward.
Sam Olver really adding the weight there.
I was going to comment on the last one. I don't really see the point in the 10 joining. He doesn't offer as much weight, and it means there's no options in the backs.
Got a bit of a roll on here.
Roberts has it at the back, trying to bide his time and trying to time it to perfection.
Oh, I could try.
Yeah.
Doncaster make the extra man pay.
Must be Oliver's weight.
He'll be happy with that. Big impact from the 10 and the more. I think that's a brilliant finish. Exactly what I was speaking about. Momentum-based game rugby, and you've got to capitalise on the yellow card. It's patient as well. It doesn't get going straight away. The backs join, and as much as we like to get into them in the week about adding weight, they've got us over the line there. But well drilled forward pack, and hopefully come away with 7 points there, and it's game on.
So George Roberts with the score. It just deserves for hitting his man time after time in that set.
I'm not sure if they'll show a replay on that, but what I liked about that is the back sweeping down the blind side. It just puts a bit of doubt in the backs of the Trailfinders to actually hit them all, and just without them doing that, it means they can't stop them all, and that's ultimately where they scored. But just a bit of movement in the back line puts doubt into the defenders.
Sam Olver is good for the 2 as well. So 4-point ball game after George Roberts' score and Sam Olver's conversion. So 14-10. 8 minutes to go towards half-time. Doncaster giving as good as they get down in West London. Shingler puts that on to Mark Best. The inside centre watches it well.
Lovely kick.
That's a cannon from the left foot of Mark Best. Someone who came through and impressed in the colours of Jersey after emerging with Belfast Harlequins and playing in the All-Ireland League.
Another look at the try here. Good patience. Strong, he actually looks like he's contributing quite heavily to that more, so he'll be chuffed with that. And yeah, great finish.
I mean, I don't want to say Lundy's done this on purpose, but this line-out's probably taken about a minute to take place.
It's a wily old hand, Alan Walker. Of course he did it on purpose.
Could just be tired.
He keeps going. He keeps going all game, Alan Walker. I won't hear of that, Charlie Walker. Getting a ride at the moment, though. Ealing's number 2, and now the backs, and Tovey gets it on from Pat Howard. Hampson goes quickly, Shingler. Daniels into the line, can't get the offload. Hampson goes back and then drops it in behind. Tom Bacon has to chase. Howard Packman does well. Mitchell looks to Jerry Sexton.
Outside, take him back in. Don't pull people out.
Interesting shapes in Doncaster's back line.
No.
But James Mitchell wants to go long.
Forward, stop. Forward,
Daniels.
Stop.
Snaking across the pitch, the right wing. Up and over halfway. Hampson in behind. Olver didn't want to play it, didn't have to. Very good kick from Craig Hampson. Whilst these streams are a way of bringing the action to fans of championship clubs, it will never get familiar, will it? This empty sound around these stadiums that we have here. It is alien, and we hope not for very much longer. And news coming this week, potentially. Not that I have any inside line on that, but there might be something coming out. Who knows? We can keep our fingers crossed. Daniels thought about quick line out.
It's another good exit from Donny there. Quick line out ball, kick off the top, and we're back into Ealing's half. So definitely sticking to the game plan there. Well, we're now 37 minutes in. It's been attritional, if nothing else, but you know, one for the rugby mega fans, I'd say. But what more could you want on a Saturday afternoon, eh?
That's why I told you to get out.
Yeah, the pre-season games, I guess they tend sometimes to lend that way. But then again, what did we see last time these two played? The second half breaking into life. And tries from all corners. Ealing tread forward carefully, and now gain momentum. Doncaster all at sea in defence. Hampson happily tagging along.
A very narrow in defence here, if you can move it.
Pat Howard. Type of player you might say only knows one way. He's got subtleties to his game too, but that time it was the straight option. And Adam Korchik fumbles. Howard Packman hammers this forward behind Hampson.
It's a lovely kick.
Great kick.
Yeah, great outcome there. Slightly narrow in defence, like Charlie said, but we forced the error, we forced the turnover, and we've turned them and we've pinned them back in their 22. So, you know, if we're looking at outcomes here, we've got to be happy with that.
Doesn't matter how narrow you are if we run narrow, does it? So,
got to catch the ball first.
He's Doncaster back in familiar territory. 2 minutes before half time, and all of a sudden the game and its momentum well in the red corner. Time will be off as Elliot Miller-Mills, someone who is off to Wasps at the end of this season. He is down and receiving some treatment.
Yeah, I think if the Knights can sort out their more defence here, dare I say it, the game's there for the taking at the moment. The momentum's in our favour. If we stop giving them 15-20 metres for every line out that they take at the moment, you know, we can really put the ball behind them and pin them in their own half. So yeah, I think coming into the second half, much more of the same. Fix the line out defence, and we're in a good position.
And how do you go about when you're looking to fix line out defence? You're going backwards at a rate of knots. What's the changes that need to be made there?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things we're doing at the moment is we're competing pretty hard in the air. So a lot of it will be on the transition from lift to finish. If we can just sharpen that up, or maybe even sacrifice competing for a couple just to deal with the line out, then we'll be happy.
Trailfinders has done the job there.
I've got it on ball carrier, taking it to
look to set off again. Hampson relieves the pressure. Sarah Cox brings us back. Penalty coming.
Yeah, I think that's the danger of Ealing, isn't it? It looked like Donny had done a really good job of dealing with them all there first time. But, you know, they roll it on again and build something out of what looked like a dead stop scenario and gain the penalty. So.
The bright expanse of those opening exchanges has been traded for hammer blows up front. The contest has become a contest, and Doncaster every inch in this game. The Trailfinders not sitting quite as comfortably as they were. Still down to 14 men, of course, and not yet back from
that's better
Simbling of Will Davis. Doncaster this time spoil. Ulva loops it over to Strong, just fumbles but gets it on to Bacon by hook or by crook. Now George Roberts takes up the mantle.
Right, you're going
and we're going to come back because Harry Strong looks in a degree of pain after.
Yeah. No.
Didn't look good just on the catch.
Thanks, mate. I thought they might go out the other way.
So Harry Strong is just to the right of our screens.
Yeah. I've got about
on the floor.
Just under 3 minutes-ish.
Just picking up on what Jack said, just going into half time, I think.
Yeah,
like he said, they'll be very happy, but ultimately I think we've got stuff to be happy about. We haven't had much possession, but we're still 4 points up on the scoreboard, and I mean we can definitely hear the wind in this box. I'd like to think it's going against Ealing in this first half, and so hopefully with that behind our back it might help us in the second half, but we can't really tell because both quite a lot of kicks have gone straight out on the full. So.
Fellas, take your time, okay? If you need it, yeah, not a problem.
Well, there is Harry Strong, signed from Nottingham in the summer.
Just give
likes of the Exeter Chiefs and Cornish Pirates on his CV.
Got you, right, see.
Yeah, I hate to see that really. Really top guy, Strongy, and unbelievable player as well. So fingers crossed for him that that's not serious, but it doesn't look great at the moment. I know how buzzing he's been to be in a new environment. He's trained the house down since he's been there. So yeah, like I said, horrible to see really, and just fingers crossed that it's nothing serious.
He had that look instantly of knowing something was wrong without crying out fully.
As well. That's what I had, mate. Yeah. You'll be a scrum because you were going forward.
Yeah, really nasty. Someone who's sent a partnership with James Newey last week. Bore fruit as well in attack. And now Mark Best paired with him. Charlie Foley, another centre in the team, just
not sure we want to see us again, do we?
On the bench.
Such the ankle, maybe.
Yeah, I can't tell at knee or ankle. It's definitely something that he doesn't look comfortable in. Never nice to see a stretcher.
Okay, it's okay. We've got a massive amount of time off. It's okay. Yeah. Oh.
So Harry Strong being helped off.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
To applause from Ealing and Doncaster.
Because the last thing I want is you go out that way and have to stop you again.
And our best wishes to him.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Charlie Foley has come on in his place. It won't be long before half-time knocks.
It's here. It's here. I'll give you that as the centre back, right? Let's go. Let's go. Now we switch back.
So Doncaster perhaps a last chance before we get into half-time. Our clock, we should say, is not linked to Sarah Cox's referee. Maybe a little bit ahead of what our clock says at the moment.
Off the shoulder. Nice long bind for me, okay? Nice and strong.
In the meantime, Ealing back up to 15. Will Davis in the number 1 jersey takes his place.
Wind really ramping up here to finish the half off.
Interesting alignment for Doncaster behind the scrum. Sam Olver on the short side. Mark Best playing first receiver on the open.
Both sides are getting binds at the moment, okay? I can see it that side and this side.
Sam Olver.
Here we go. Yes, Charlie Boy pulls it hard. Let's go. Killer. Let's get that hit the smash up. Let's go, Will. Let's go. Go high, go high. Let's go. You know, fire me. As they hit a row. Yes,
I can't see. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Parity at the scrum. So Doncaster play. Mitchell sticks with the plan, goes to Olver, who hammers into Hampson. Makes good ground, the number 10. Now Hislop on his opposite number. Sam Graham is missed out. Best goes behind. It doesn't go over the heads of Pat Howard at the back. And off his left peg. Play is taken up to almost halfway.
Again, another win to Donny there on the kicking game. Just one kick into the corner, and they've probably made 10 metres from where they started from it. It's not a lot, but it's small margins, and that's where they want to be playing the game, not in their own half.
Yeah, I think with the scrum being a bit of an arm wrestle at the moment, Lana's functioned pretty well, so yeah, great outcome.
Yeah, George Roberts in this wind, putting in a very impressive first showing, and that seemingly undoing what we've just said, but only once.
It's a bold call, isn't it, in this wind?
Commentator's curse, I think.
There we go. Other than that, it's been working marvellously.
This will be last play. Let's go, let's go!
It does give Ealing that chance to try something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do here. I think refs just called last play, so will they have a go or will they just kick it off and get into the sheds at half time, 4 points up, haven't had the yellow.
Crouch! Bound! Set! 9, please!
Hampson, under a touch of pressure, gives it to Howard, and then Shingler is wrapping around the back to David Johnston, and Angus Kernahan is racing after this. Howard Packman tracks it back, dots it down.
Yeah, if you could.
Comfortably dealt with in the end.
No, I had him over the line already, so it's 26.
Yeah, good opportunity. I thought Ealing might have kept the ball there, had a go. Looked like there was a bit of space out wide, so interesting to see him put the kick through, but I suppose with the conditions, kicking battles very important at the moment, so.
There is a pragmatism to Ealing's play, even in a pre-season match. They're treating every moment like everything's on the line. Shingler, Johnston. That escapes everyone's clutches, apart from Kernahan, who has 2 red shirts to deal with.
No, leave it alone. Leave it alone. No,
Hampson, James Cannon. Doesn't fool too many. It's good press from Doncaster and Ealing. With a nod to that, they put the ball out. Craig Hampson doing for the first 40 minutes, and at half-time, Trailfinders have their noses ahead, 14 points to 10. They opened up proceedings with a try from David Johnston and followed that one up with another from the rolling maul, but Doncaster getting back into it with George Roberts' score. And in the capital, the South Yorkshiremen are putting up quite a fight. 14-10 at half-time.
Yeah, I think both teams will be reasonably pleased with that. I'd probably say Doncaster will probably be more happy than Ealing, but Ealing haven't had the yellow every time pretty much they've been into Donny's half or to Donny's 22. They've come away with points, and that's what the best teams do. They're clinical in the opportunities that they have. But I think the fight that the Knights have shown has been awesome. If we can touch up a couple of things in Maul D and maybe get into the ref a bit about the scrum and the dark arts that happens there, you know, it's going to be a good game, all shaped nicely for a second 40 minutes.
Well, let's just track back through the highlights from the first half, and it started well for Ealing Trailfinders. Charlie, that opening score.
Yeah, it was just straight out the blocks. I think, did this come for a scrum or line-out? I can't remember, but quick couple of plays. And just about getting the ball out at the right time, playing on top of teams is something we speak about a lot. So if you get quick ball, if you get momentum going, it's very hard to defend. Get your numbers around the corner, and you see that they're not quite fully set. It means they can't come off the line hard, and then you get stuck on your heels, and it's just an easy one-on-one there when you're looking for that guy to help you on the outside.
Yeah, I think that first try really shows the importance of collision dominance. Ealing got that off of the maul. You know, like we said, Donny were probably expecting the maul. They get the quick ball, they can't slow the ball down, and it's an easy walk-in.
And this is, like you said, this is where we use them all. Go back to old tricks, which has worked for us well in the past, and I mean, you can't blame them, really, can you?
Yeah, it's definitely effective, and they're very good at it, to be fair to them. Well-drilled team, and you know, when you've got a weapon like that, it just shows these first 2 tries how you can use it and how you can set teams up with the dummy maul as well. So yeah, fantastic work from Ealing there, and there we have it.
I think it was Guy who's got the try, I think.
Yeah, Guy Thompson, let's stick it on him.
But yeah, here we go. Whatever Ealing can do, we'll throw it right back at them. So you know, good pressure from Donny, and you know, we get over the line. George gets over the line with a well-built maul, and help out from the backs as well.
not sure if you'll see it from this view, but just what we were speaking about earlier, just what difference it makes the back sweeping round to the blind side, just the way it holds defenders. It means like people like Jack Tovey can't join as early as he wants to. Pat Howard's not fully involved there because he's worried about what's going on blind side, but I don't think we're going to get that angle on it. And that was the half.
So a whiz through, and 14-10 is how things lie as everyone just takes 5 and resets themselves for the second half. We are just going to take a track back through Ealing Trailfinders' last match, a famous win at the StoneX Stadium against Saracens, and they'd already beaten them in the first match of the Trailfinders Challenge Cup. That was here at Vallis Way. They went to the StoneX and they really impressed. To let us know, but unfortunately not allowed. Davis off the top, Whiteley at 10, and into the midfield goes Rhodes. Davis from the box, centre position. Dean Hammond and David Johnston are underneath this, and they don't get the communications right. Whiteley is going to put Don Morris in, and Saracens splendid from the beginning. Craig Willis also a thorn in the side of Saracens last time out, and he has got himself off the mark. 3 points, courtesy of a penalty against Vincent Koch. Tom Whiteley restarts us. And claimed by Harris. That was brilliant from the right winger. Saracens right back on the attack. Davis misses out Wollstonecroft and Michael Rhodes. Whiteley round the back. This time he puts it on the toe again, and Daniel's having to be likely. It's going to be Don Morris diving down, swooping into the corner. Walker. Ealing go to work again. They were so dangerous at Vallis Way. Saracens have quashed it. Howard goes through Shegan, and then he needs help.
7-6 away.
Good ground made by the inside centre, and Hampson just picks and goes. Ealing rolling over. First try for them. A little bit more creativity required to cross, but cross they do. Trailfinders knit themselves together. Saracens have turned it somewhat. Hampson needs out, and Daniels tidies up very well. Hampson on to Murphy, and he somehow rides the first blow from Harry Sloan. Hampson again to the try scorer Smid. Ealing putting things together nicely. Big hit on James Cannon. Hampson to Davis. He scored from a similar distance out last week. De Vere has to ride the first and does very well, the South African. Hampson gets it on to Murphy, who's ever willing, Kieran Murphy. Trailfinders looking for their second of this match, and the arms in the air.
Some cheers going on there.
We'll let you know. Sarries with the ball, Whiteley playing very wide and onto Kapoku. Whiteley to the line, and this is good from Morris, and he's in space again. Shegan is now with his hands on the ball and straight over. It hasn't taken Saracens long to kickstart the second half. And behind the scrum for Trailfinders, Pat Howard is the first receiver on the open side. Craig Willis, however, the fly half, is directly behind the scrum. And Hampson just drops the ball. Goes to Howard, who has to jump for it. Nothing working for Trailfinders. So they have to reset. Willis to Daniels, and he escapes Morris's clutch. That was important.
Thank you, 7.
Saracens so quick off the line, and that was good from Johnson. He gets it on to Dean Hammond, who gets around the first, and Hammond now cutting in field, the former Worcester winger, and my goodness, he is flying for Trailfinders.
That's an outrageous finish from Dino.
Sean Moulton, Will Davis, Bobby De Vere want to go straight. Ironi Mawi puts in the tackle. Hampson to Schmid, he already has one, the captain. Stopped just short. Hampson again, and this time Trailfinders break the deadlock. And could this be another score for Ealing Trailfinders? De Vere has taken it again, as he's done for most of the game. It's been a weapon which Saracens have found hard to stop across these 2 matches, and they can't stop it. They can't stop it another time.
I think that's a try.
I've been listening before that.
Trailfinders do it again. And with that try comes the contest. Callum Hunterhill taken down, and perhaps Saracens can finish with a forward effort. Alex Day guides the pack forward. Trailfinders give a penalty away.
16, side entry.
Wollstonecroft goes straight for the line. Would be Saracens' 4th try. The bonus point that does come with that, so in terms of the context of the competition, it could lead to something and finishing ahead of Doncaster, and that is what they're playing for, and they have got it.
Find your escape. Find your surprise. Find your adventure. Find your exotic. Find your freedom. Find your wild side. Find yourself.
Trust Trailfinders, guaranteeing your travels since 1970.
Yes, good message, isn't it? Find your adventure from Trailfinders, and actually we'd like you to find your phone if you're watching this, and let us know if you have any questions at half-time. Hashtag ETFVDON on Twitter, and we'll answer your questions. We actually have some direct messages coming in. The first one, really good one actually, from Will Roger. He says, new to watching Championship Rugby, but looking forward to the season to come. Glad it's being streamed, hope it is. And what, Charlie, are you most looking forward to as an away match in the Championship season to come?
I'd say looking at the fixture lists, I think Cornish Pirates is always one you look forward to. But obviously it's a lot different this year. With, I presume the away trips, the bus trips, aren't going to be as fun as they probably are in the past, and that's just something. I know it's one of those sacrifices we have to take. So we'll see if things start making a bit change with the vaccine and COVID stuff changing around that point, and there could be some interesting bus journeys away, and maybe some overnight stays, but it's probably not going to be likely this season. So it's one of them. We'll take it game by game, as we were saying before, a cliche. But yeah, I think Cornish Pirates with a fan base, if we're allowed fans in by then, we'll get.
Yeah, Cornish Pirates is away for Ealing Trailfinders on the 10th of April, and one of the later matches against Saracens, you'll actually be home here on the 24th of April as well. The final match of Ealing's season will be this fixture, and that'll be in May, and that will dictate maybe a lot riding on that, depending on who will be in the playoffs in June. Of course, that's two-legged playoff to get into the Premiership. And Jack, I guess same question really. It's yourself coming back from Bath, of course, and a young player as well. So I imagine lots of these places are going to be new to you as well. Is there any which mark out? You're at Ampthill in the first match away, and then Coventry home, Hartpury away, and Cornish Pirates at home after that.
Yeah, I think Hartpury away will be an interesting one. Played a lot against Hartpury over the years, over my time at uni, and know quite a few of the boys that are there at the moment, so that'll be a nice test early on. But yeah, to piggyback on what Charlie was saying, really, we've got Ealing back here again on the 22nd of May. With the way that they're rolling out the vaccine at the moment, fingers crossed that we might actually get a proper away day, and maybe even a weekend away, which would be nice. I think that's it's brilliant that we're out here able to play games. No crowds is always a shame, but the social side of rugby, which is a huge part of it, the team bonding, getting to know players away from training, and doing that in the pub. I don't think there's a better environment to do it, really, and obviously in a controlled manner. But that 22nd of May could,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. we'll see each other here, and
see you in the pub after.
Yeah, we'll be able to celebrate properly. But yeah, exactly, that's business end of the season as well. So, you know, 2 teams playing today that both want to be up there. Fingers crossed, you know, all going well with the vaccine and with the season. We're both challenging for those semi-final spots or for the playoff spots, and we can go from there.
So is that something that has affected away trips then? The bus trips are any different at all, or is that, do you mean more just in terms of a weekend away and going to the pub afterwards?
Yeah, I think as Jack said, I mean, for me, joining a team this year new, it's been, I mean, we can't complain at all. We're in a very lucky position. We're very fortunate, but trying to meet new people when you've got a full new squad, when you're socially distanced, you're keeping away from them. And then, obviously, for me, I haven't been out training, so I've been kind of tucked away in a little gym in the corner. It's quite hard. You keep away from people at training, and then you can't really find out, you know, what gets them going outside the pitch, what their interests are, and kind of just bond and, you know, have pretty rubbish conversations over a beer and actually just find out a bit about them and get to know them and want to play for them. So that is definitely missing, and as Jack said, it's something that rugby is built on. It's always been a social side of the sport. Obviously, it's a lot more professional now and the recovery and stuff, but I think it's got to be and always should be a part of the game.
Yeah, thoughts of Charlie Walker and Jack Davies across the first half, and delighted to say they are sticking around for the second half as well, which should be underway shortly. The distractions that were going on the pitch, by the way, they are testing the pyrotechnics, which are due to be played out when Ealing Trailfinders lift the trophy. They have, of course, won the Trailfinders Challenge Cup already, so there is a cup here waiting for them. Chaps, have you seen the cup? It's out there somewhere.
Well, you can't miss it. It's absolutely ginormous.
It is quite, isn't it? I heard it described as like the UEFA Cup in the early noughties. It's certainly sparkly like that.
So it's hard to get your hands on as well.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. So that will be lifted by Ealing Trailfinders for sure. And so do stay around for that at the end. First trophy of the season. Matt Challoner leading Doncaster back out onto the pitch. And who knows, it might not be, if Doncaster have anything to do with it, off the back of a win. We will see. The Knights are coming. They are getting better and better across the course of this pre-season competition. And Ealing all laid out. Guy Thompson there in the 7 jersey. Someone who has so much experience playing National League rugby for Jersey, and then he zoomed up the leagues in a personal capacity, signing for Wasps, then Leicester, and now back here at Ealing at the age of 34, having a stellar pre-season campaign as well. Shingler goes down the middle, taken in by Joyce. Someone who quietly had a very good first half, Connor Joyce. Bomber Hislop. Someone who equally was to the fore for his side. And James Mitchell. Hampson. Korchik. Shingler and on to Rain Smid. Makes yards through the middle. Shingler again goes himself the fly half. Felled by Best. And this is looped over nicely to Daniels. Goes in behind. Bacon is having to turn. Olver is coming across. Daniels causing all manner of problems. Doncaster do deal with it. Alan Walker or Miller Mills is there, making his full weight a nuisance. Doncaster go from their try line. Joyce. It was in the second period where Saracens accelerated against Doncaster last week. It was only 12 points to 3 at half-time. But from there, Saracens made their territory and their possession and physicality really tell. So that's a challenge for the Knights in the second period this time. But if you remember the match at Castle Park between these two, the second half turned very, very quickly as the Knights scored 2 rapid-fire tries with Carl Evans.
It was an interesting choice of kick-off. I like the intent. We want to get the ball back in play. I presume, unless the wind's changed, obviously we can't really tell from here. I thought we might be putting it into that far corner from where we're watching from, as you can see on the TV screens. The flag still seems to be going down that way, so a nice long kick into the 5 and 5, right down by that goalpost would be, not the goalpost, the touch post would be nice.
Walker to Smid. An axis to rely on. Trailfinders start to creak the red shirts. Hampson is just leaving the ball in the rucksack for now. Now wants the forwards to pile in and the backs. 13-man maul set up. This was what did for Saracens on plenty of occasions across the 2 games the 2 played, and it's going to do for Knights at the start of the second half. Brilliant try.
Stephen Shingler.
The fly half.
Daylight robbery from the forwards, that I love it.
Must be something in the water down here with 10s joining mauls.
Yeah, Craig Willis lending his weight. He never came up with it at the end of proceedings. How did Shingler do this?
Scampered straight through the middle.
That's a little bit more Aaron Shingler than Stephen Shingler. I'm sure his brother would have been proud of that. So to convert his own try from a rolling maul. Not often you get to say that in rugby.
He's done it.
Good kick.
Stephen Shingler starting to have a very good game. Converts his own try, and Trailfinders have control back at the start of the second half.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we said in the first half, is that every time Ealing have had opportunities, they've taken them or coming away with points, and prime example of that, capitalise on the error or on the exit and come away with 7 points.
And this time the restart, better dealt with by Ealing. But George Roberts. I could field position this still for the Knights, and Hislop and Roberts just have a conflab.
Step over. On his mark.
Overthrow, so Trailfinders play away. Howard switching in midfield with Thompson, but Tovey couldn't take it. And there was a red hand causing a menace.
It's unlucky, good lines of running there. Paddy sees a half gap, goes for it. Tucks under, gets the offload away. And great line by Thompson. Unfortunately, just couldn't take it.
I think it's often something we talk about in rugby is, you know, compounding errors, and having just conceded a try, got some good field position. The last one we want to be doing is not converting the line out or not hitting the line out. So you know, giving momentum back to Ealing there will be something that we want to look at, and hopefully just keep ball here, gain control for a couple of minutes, and take a breath.
He's just told you you're creeping. So there's the mark for you. You set and then you set, okay?
Come on. Here we go. Yeah, lovely. Okay. Yeah, watching Howard Patman. Yeah, middle row. Second. Yeah, didn't bother. Let's go, Joey Boy. Let's go, Joey Boy.
Crouch.
So you may have heard on the ref mic from Ealing's corner. Watch Howard Packman. He is behind Sam Olver, directly behind.
Go over the mark, just like here. Re-engage. Just right here. That's not you, you're fine. Just right here. Over the mark.
From a free kick. So Olver just goes high, Packman does chase.
Great take.
David Johnson knocked down in the process by Packman.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that. I think, you know, for me, eyes on the ball, genuine attempt to catch the ball. It's unlucky, but with the way the game is at the moment, any contact in the air, any contact anywhere above the shoulder is just completely off limits, isn't it? So that's the game we play at the moment.
And the upshot is Ealing have a chance to go to the corner, but they don't take it. Shingler doesn't find touch. Olver hammers it down Hampson's neck.
See this wind pushing it back in this side.
Yeah, Olver has to judge it, and there's a lot of margin for error there, so doesn't go anywhere near the touchline. Johnston carries, Evans tackles.
Yes.
And Knights muscle the penalty on the floor. Connor Joyce involved, Bomber Hislop as well.
Don, you're winning the kick battle here. Same as the first half, just a bit of patience, and then they're coming out with a better result, and they've got a penalty on the 10 now. So
yeah, I think you can see it in the body language as well. You see the props walking back, hands on heads there from Ealing, but see a red shirt there trying to get forward. Great energy from Kyle to get through and make that tackle, and then Joyce is in over the ball, and it's a great opportunity to launch something here.
On the 22, Knights looking to hit back after Ealing's early score from the rolling ball. Roberts, Doncaster's try scorer, has it at the back. Mitchell has best, but he's missed out. Packman rolls and rolls again. Mitchell just delays with the pass, so Charlie Foley in the numberless shirt tidies up. Here is Sam Graham. Long strides of Graham. He's taken down well, and Volpe is hit hard by Bobby De Via. Goodness me, that was a collision of two behemoths. There was an advantage coming.
Oh, looks like we had another yellow here.
It was for De Via's tackle. I'd like to have a look again at that.
I think it was for the knock-on. I don't think she was too concerned about the tackle.
It looked like a good tackle to me.
It's cynical. Slap the ball forward.
Oh, you're absolutely right, gents.
No, he does. He asked. Yeah.
Sarah Cox penalising the intentional knock-on by Bobby De Via. So for the second time in the match, Trailfinders will have to make do with 14. And Sam Ulmer has a great chance to reduce the deficit to 8 points.
Yeah, right option for me, taking a 3, I think. The maul's gone well, gone over once, but down to 14, 11-point game, 30 minutes to go. Take the 3, come back, regroup, and every time Donny get down here with territory, they seem to get a penalty or some kind of points. So if we can play in the right areas, manage the game well, then it's going to be a tight game.
Sam Olver, once of Ealing Trailfinders, scoring against them for Doncaster. 21 points to 13, he makes the score. Doncaster back in it.
I think it's probably worth mentioning as well, obviously they've been down to 14 now for what will be 20 minutes of the game. When it gets down to the nitty gritty, if it's close to the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that could come into it, and that's only going to favour the Knights.
Shingler gets us back underway.
Great take, great kick, great take.
Hislop.
I'm going to go in there, yeah. Use the ball! No, sir.
Mitchell's box will drift away to the right.
You okay?
Nice platform now for the boys to attack off. line out just outside the 22. I know we're a man down, so centre's probably going to have to step a bit more, carry a bit more, get the wingers involved, which we haven't seen much of. You know, be nice to see Angus and Lukey Daniels in a bit of space, and even with the centres, Jack Tovey's first game back in a while, first start for a while. It's good to see.
Yeah, Jack Tovey's someone who is more familiar in the colours of Bristol, having been a 10-year man there. But since then he's played on loan for Hartpury, and now in the colours of Trailfinders. Has been here for a while actually. In the centre, first start in a while indeed. Will Davis, who spent time on the sidelines in the first half, gets the ball. Here is Tovey. Mark Best looking to hold him up in the close quarters. Shingler back to his day job at fly half. Johnston. Hole in the defence for Korchik, and that quickly closed by Hislop. Hampson can't take it, it's only gone backwards though, and Kernahan scrapes through. Had precious little to live off the left wing. Shingler, this is looking ominous from Trailfinders as Miller Mills goes into the 22. The shape out to the left, and Shingler and Howard still going. Pat Howard within 3 of the line. Advantage as well, and penalty comes. Hampson digging around for the ball, threatening the quick tap.
Yeah, and exactly like Charlie said, man down, the centre's going to have to step up, and that's exactly what they've done. 2 big carries there from the 12, and you know, taking 2 or 3 defenders out of the game each time over the gain line. It's hard for a retreating defence to slow you down, and you know, the only thing they can do is give away the penalty.
It's going to be taken short. Walker with Miller Mills and co. Calls for a knock-on.
It's a lot more like it from defence.
Doncaster putting their shoulder to the wheel and knocking Trailfinders back. Hampson wants a bit more protection. Everyone on the right-hand side. Penalty comes.
Just going back to that phase before, it's been something that I've been really impressed with since I've joined here. Just the way that we play on top of teams. I mean, a lot of teams I've played in the past, as soon as you get a slight line break, you get told the space is wide and it's automatically get the ball there. But doing that often gives the opportunity for the defence to recover and get cover in those positions. Whereas here, it's very much about attacking direct through the middle, nice straight lines. And when you're doing that, there's no time to recover down the middle, and it makes it a lot more difficult for the defence. And to get into that position from the line out is what we've done here. And something we had success with against Sarries is this quick tap. You know, this is kind of a ineffective carry to start with to try and create quick ball, which we didn't get there. And as I said, it was an ineffective carry. I think that's quite hard. Like, I know we've knocked it on, but it's kind of that one in training. If you're not going at 100%, you're more likely to get injured. That old thing. Whereas you're carrying in, not going at 100%, because you know you're just trying to put the ball back and give quick ball, and then you're probably focusing on other things rather than just actually trying to dominate the tackle. And that's unlucky and very rare for, I think it was Lunny who carried it.
The phase you were talking about before, so, excuse me, Jack, just the type of play where Ealing looks so slick at when they're on that game. Is that almost a microcosm of the type of play you want to be doing the whole time? Yeah, it's just about isolating that one defender. Basically, in very simple terms, getting 2 attackers running one defender at both shoulders. And if you get that, the defender's got to make a choice, which means the guy outside him's got to make a choice. And when you get people on different pages, that's when you create mismatches and you create gaps and opportunities.
Right, that is the mark there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that we've highlighted in the week, while over both of the games that we've played against Ealing. Is, you know, more often than not, it doesn't look like there's an awful amount of shape, but you've got big men coming hard at the line repeatedly. If you don't win the first collision and they get on top of you, you're not going to be able to slow them down. Like I said earlier, if you've got a retreating defence, the only way you can slow the ball down is giving away a penalty, and we've seen that there. But I think we've got to take a lot of heart from that, is that when we fronted up 5 metres out from our line and forced a turnover. So we've shown we can do it, and you know, we've rewarded ourselves with a scrum here, chance to exit and get back into territory that suits us.
Decent exit too from Sam Olver. That scrum under a lot of pressure, but doing the job.
Time off.
And we're back to where we started 5 minutes ago.
No, yeah, but we've got a ball at the back and you played away, so I understand what you're saying, yeah.
A couple of changes for Donny as well, I think. Joe Jones has gone off. Gaz Demon on, and looks like Matt Smith as well for Jerry Sexton.
At the moment it's kind of a carbon copy of the first half, just a role reversal. We've had all of the ball and not necessarily come away with too much yet, and Donny are defending really well, which is the same as kind of we did in the first half down in that corner. Obviously the wind's playing a big factor and keeping the ball down here, and Donny just need to work their way up the pitch really.
James Cannon claims the line-outs. Someone who came over to Trailfinders from Connaught. Found his home in the second row here. Shingler, Kernahan. Shingler again. Hampson has numbers here with Thompson, Packman and Best. Haul him to the floor. Will Davis. Distinct upping of the ante from Trailfinders. David Johnston plays fly half. Sam Olver again, brave in the tackle. Doncaster's number 10. Howard. Tovey. Will Davis scored a try from similar distance outs up at Castle Park. They've got his number that time, and Schmid can't take it. He's so dangerous in those types of positions.
The high tackle. Which one do you want? You want this one? Okay. Come back for the maul. Yeah. Entry. He's changed his bind to come up the side and then entered.
Yeah, I mean, probably the right call, but how many times does that happen in a game? How many times does that go unnoticed in a game, especially with the way Moore's are refereed at the moment? A bit like the scrum, really. It's a lottery, isn't it? And you take your chances. I thought Smithy was unlucky there, but you know, it just goes to show if you get it wrong, this is the trouble with Ealing. They'll kick to the corner, and all of a sudden you're under the pump defending 7-10 metres out from your line, and we've seen it already a couple of times today how good they are.
Just keep them on you, will you?
Alan Walker makes his way to the sideline. Maybe has a plan in his head for what comes after. Goes to James Cannon. Walker does join them all at the back, but Guy Thompson has it. And Trailfinders set off, going to the blind side. Hampson, and then Kernahan is driving for the line. Just pushed back. Deception from Trailfinders. The follow-up gives them the try.
That's a nice try, but no.
The foray down the blind side, it works, and it seems Guy Thompson has a second.
I think that try could have saved Donny a yellow card there. There are like a couple of repeated penalties at more time. Penalty advantage as well, but hopefully the 7 points is enough justice, and we won't go down to 14.
Here's the replay. Couldn't see much from that.
Looks like Guy Thompson again, is it?
Trying the first half from the rolling maul that time. Phase after the rolling maul.
Big Bobby's back on.
Are you touch judge now, eh?
Trailfinders notching that whilst they had a man in the bin.
Yeah, confidence to go to the 15 there on the line out with the second row down.
Another superb conversion from Stephen Shingler. 28 points to 13 now. Trailfinders go ahead.
Yeah, the 10s have kicked really well off the tee today. Obviously with the conditions, ball out of hand, kicking's been a bit ropey, but you can't argue with that. I think 100% from the tee so far. But again, it's scrappy on the restart.
Great kick off.
We've got the ball back.
Yep.
Sam Olver goes back to Tom Bacon. Picks his way through the
lovely line.
20-year-olds on loan from Wasps. Big line from Guido Volpe, but the try scorer, Guy Thompson, was there. Best looks for Packman, And Packman with something to work with here. Tovey closes him. Doncaster's Gareth Denman carries the ball forward. Olver dummies and goes. James Cannon just stood his ground. And Mitchell has just hammered that all the way through.
She hasn't got the bounce.
I assume, yeah.
A costly error from number 9, James Mitchell.
Was there advantage or not? Or?
Number 3? Yeah, that's all right. We've got
Doesn't look like it.
I mean,
number 3.
Yeah, as a forward, I think that's probably one of the most frustrating scenarios to be in. Carrying into brick walls, you're just hoping that if they're going to relieve the pressure, they relieve the pressure and the ball goes out and doesn't go dead. And you know, it's unfortunate it's missed it, not by much, but it's the kind of thing you get up and you're huffing and you're puffing after that.
Of course, yeah. 9. No, you're going with sub. Yeah. And
Will
10.
Davis is just receiving some treatment, the loose head.
I think a few subs are happening now.
They're over on here, Nick.
Another replay of the try.
See, I thought the ball was at the front there.
Oh, it's fine, yeah. We've still got
So did the cameraman.
anyway.
They've done well to stop Angus there. He's a strong bloke on the wing. I've learned nothing from that.
Yeah, need a better angle there. Hopefully this will do. Shows like a flop over the line.
You okay? You're good? Yeah, no problems.
There you go. Good finish from half a metre.
Clinical. Poacher's try.
Yeah, textbook flop by Guy Thompson. Trailfinders in control, definite control.
Yeah, Donny ringing the changes here as well. I think Will Hollins on, John Kelly's on, Sam Pock on, and Billy McBride on at 10 as well. So I think that's the bench emptied now.
15 minutes to play with for Doncaster. So too for Ealing, and Shingler has that intention. Tovey gives it on to Daniels and he shows a clean pair of heels. Bacon, the fullback, makes the tackle. Hampson. Trailfinders looking to turn the screw. Harry Seward. Shingler off his left foot. Carl Evans is having to turn and look oh so lively because Kernahan is there. Steps past the first line. Only so far as his try line. Having to be so careful. Have Trailfinders turned him.
Oh, he's outside. No one's coming out there. We've got a complete unplayable. Oh, we've all on everyone.
Very simple attack that from Ealing, just off the set play, just taking the ball really flat to the line. Numbers on, just a straight flat miss pass. It meant Howard on the wing. He had to make a decision whether to come in, whether to come out. Gives Lukey Daniels a bit of space on the outside, and he's actually receiving a bit of treatment down there. But really good tackle from the fullback. I think Tom Bacon is been impressed with him so far. Made his tackles look really dangerous in attack. Safe under the high ball in the first half. Again, we're back into that same position where we kind of have spent most of the second half.
Tom Bacon, someone who's highly rated by Steve Bowden. Someone who came through Wasps Academy with the likes of Alfie Barbary and Charlie Atkinson.
Yeah, really deceptive player actually, Tommy. Been really impressed with him from what I've seen in training so far. You know, doesn't come across as a particularly big bloke or an out-and-out athlete, but very good skill set, and yeah, deceptively quick and agile. And we saw that in the first game. We went 80 metres against Ealing in the second minute, so he definitely knows where the try line is, and I think more importantly, he's very safe under the high ball. So I'm expecting big things from him this season, and hopefully in many seasons to come.
Talking of knowing where the try line is, James Cuddy-Redden's coming on for Luke Daniels. I think he's on about 50 tries for Ealing. I'm not sure if you've got the stat there, Jack, but He's useful. He's not a small bloke, very dangerous in the air, and hopefully we get to see him in a bit of space.
Can't give you overall tries, but I can give you recent scores against Doncaster. He's always scoring against Doncaster.
It's just not good enough.
Brace here, single try there, match winner there. He scored one against them at Castle Park. You are right there, Charlie Walker. It's the type of stat should be able to drop
Get
in.
your feet up underneath you and get the gap right, okay? I set him too fast, so we'll get the gap better. Oh, it's him.
Let's go, David. Someone's tired, eh? Check him. Yeah. On me. Yes, Mama.
Coach. Bones. Let's go. It's on board, it's nice ball. That's the ball.
Total demolishing of Ealing scrum by Doncaster.
Ealing done well to not give a penalty away there.
Okay, use the ball.
Bobby boot.
Sam Pocklington, Academy product. On for 15 minutes now and makes good distance, but only so far as Johnston. Kernahan up in support. Starting to pinball around the place now, Angus Kernahan. Will Davis pops it inside, that's nice, and now Sean Moulton is stepping and he's giving on to Hampson. Into play, superb between backs and forwards. Ealing with the sun on their backs, and their tails up. 5 metres away. Hurtling around the corner. Doncaster's defence is back in numbers. Not necessarily organised numbers, but plentiful supply. Hampson will look to stretch them here. Shingler shapes to go himself. He's well watched by McBride. Rain Smid. Numbers continuing to come, and Hampson gets wrestled to the floor. High tackle from Hislop, but here comes Cordy Reddin.
That's on the line.
First touch of the ball from the substitute, and the second time the try comes.
I thought Cordy Reddin might have had that, and that would look great on us. Apparently just short.
And James Cannon takes the score.
Your 8 unbound went to pick the ball.
Yeah, really good phase play from Ealing there. Nice to see the interplay between hookers, centres, forwards and backs all combining together. Really well-oiled machine, and I think, in the end the pressure was just too much, and they've managed to sneak over there. Yeah, I think what Charlie's saying there, he's close there, and again a flop over from the forwards, and they'll be absolutely delighted with that.
James Cannon could flop over from about 3 metres.
I appreciate that, thank you very much. Thanks for sending that on, Nicky.
Yeah, that's it, prolific.
There is James Cannon, someone who used to play against the man he scrums down with at the moment, Bobby DeVere, in the Pro 14.
There or thereabouts, is that right or not?
The try scorer this afternoon. And Shingler, for the first time, misses from the conversion. So 33 points to 13, 20-point gap, and Trailfinders cruising towards the end of this Trailfinders Challenge Cup.
Yeah, and showing no signs of letting up either. I know we spoke about the 2 yellows and that potentially having an impact late on the game, but if anything, they look right up for this, and they're going to want to score again before we get to 80 minutes. So
DeVere with the take from the restart.
Okay, use the ball, please, 9. Right, don't pull people out of the ruck, please. Yes, it is.
Another chance to see Tom Bacon. Tackle was good from Adam Korchik, and the jackling was very good from Guy Thompson.
Simple, really, isn't it? Put the kick on the money, make the tackle, get someone over the ball. When the other team has to retreat to get to the breakdown, get there before them, it makes it very difficult to get them out of the way, especially when you've got a decent jackler in the team like Guy.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, he's set to be a menace across the championship this season, Guy Thompson. Every team will be marking his card, but how do you stop him?
Yeah, no problem.
Beat him to it.
Top off. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think we saw a lot of Jacqueline from Ealing in the first half, which probably says a lot about the ball security of Donny. I thought our ruck in attack was quick in the first half. I suppose maybe now with the last 10 minutes, legs are a bit heavier, a bit slower to break down. That's when, you know, world-class sevens and your jackalers of the team, they come into play, and then they'll give you penalties in crucial areas. And like we say, like we've been saying for this whole tournament, you have trouble stopping Ealing from here.
Up goes Ben West. And Trailfinders set again. Need to nudge their trucks towards the line, but Hampson goes over the top this time, and Shingler is after it again, just missing. Sarah Cox had a long look at it and spotted a knock-on. Let's have a look at this.
I think it was Shingler who just got the knock-on. I mean, you could argue tackle off the ball, but if you don't tackle him, he scores, so...
I'm going to come your side, okay?
So close for Trailfinders. Doncaster scrummer stood up well to the test of the West Londoners so far. Stood up well last week against Saracens too, with that penalty try. Never been within striking distance to do the same in this one. It has been a very strong facet of the game, and will look to be across the course of the season.
Yeah, I think set piece is probably the foundation that both of these teams build their game off. Obviously, you know, Ealing are going to come with a big scrum, a big driving game, and you know that power approach is what works for them and opens up the space for the backs, and it's, you know, similar to what we're trying to do here.
Good scrum again from Doncaster. Charlie Foley, someone well used to playing fly half, taking on that mantle now, and goodness, he does well. With us in commentary last week and shaking off his injury, back into the action. Pocklington, Johnston, the Munsterman, Davis, Shingler, Tuvey, Howard outside in the two centres switching position. Shrugging off tacklers for fun is Pat Howard, so difficult to pull down, and Cordy Reddin will look for an escape route. No way through Mark Best. Sean Moulton, lovely step from the replacement hooker. Tuvey is closed down, but Trailfinders still knocking on the door, looking for more. Davis can't find his man, and that just breaks down the move. A really promising play from Ealing, and when they settle like this, they look like such a good side.
Yeah, I think we just forced it at the end there. You go through that amount of phases, the defence are going to be knackered. That's why you just got to keep piling the phases on. Probably doesn't help you got a prop throwing a no-look pass, and that's ultimately where we went wrong there. We just want to keep the phases. Probably, I don't think he was expecting the ball either, and then people outside him weren't expecting the ball. But again, we're still in a good position. It's very tough, as we've seen, to get out of this 22 in the second half with the win, so it's not the worst case for us.
How impressive is it for the strength and conditioning side of things to have had two people in the bin and then to be able to seemingly turn the wick up?
Yeah, I think we just played very smart when we had those two people in the bin. Obviously, I don't want to give too many tricks away, but it's pretty obvious. You know, you don't rush to kickoffs, you don't rush to line-outs, you kind of do everything in your own time. Your centres have got to stand up a bit more, carry a bit more, to take a bit of ownership from the forwards, who are obviously a man down, and we did that well. We kind of weathered the storm. I think the second one was favourite. It was good for us that it was in in this half because we got the wind with us, whereas in the first half it was a bit more under our backs, and that showed in the scoreline.
Penalty Doncaster, and that must be pleasing to see, Jack Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've shown glimpses all the way through this competition of how well a well-drilled scrum we've got here. I know Bose does a lot of work with the front row, and we've got some exceptional prop forwards. And we saw it against Sarries with the pushover try, and you know we're starting to see it in the latter stages here. And like I said, you know, set pieces are a great foundation to build a game plan off, and you know, if you've got front football, if you've got penalties, it all helps.
Doncaster with the last chance for action before the start of the championship season, and good line-out ball feeds Charlie Foley and Guido Volpi. That's a good line, the number 8. Haven't seen him enough in action in this one, and just darting in between the action. One of the medics from Ealing.
Never nice to see. Hell of a carry.
Yeah, I think that's been something that's really impressed me today. You know, being pitch side and being able to look at just how dominant Ealing are in the collisions. Been really impressed with the 12 Howard. I think Tubby's shown some nice touches, and you know the way that forwards, their intent to carry and get over the gain line, it just helps their game plan so much. You know, we spoke about it in the week about getting over the gain line, about how hard it is to stop that. And it's just shown, you know, it's one of those things that there's only so many times that you can concede meters without giving away a penalty or a try.
It is Pat Howard who is the man down, and it did look like a sickening blow. Ealing medics couldn't have been quicker to attend to the South African.
That's okay. 7 minutes, okay. That's 7, yeah. To answer your question, it's about 7 minutes, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, mate, appreciate that. You okay? Yeah?
That is, of course, horrendous to see. Pat Howard, been in these parts for 3 seasons. Now, part of the furniture, really, and such an important player.
Yeah, again, never nice to see. I think this could be quite a long stoppage in play.
Came from that big carry from Volpi.
Okay, right, got you.
It was a bit unfortunate for Donny in that side, because it was a really nice setup they had going. They'd obviously got over the gain line first bit, and then unfortunately had to be stopped. But
there's about 7 minutes to go. Yeah.
Player health is paramount, so we've got to look after the players.
Well, we're just going to have a look at some of the tries this half so far. This is how it started. I mean, how good was this from Trailfinders' perspective?
So you didn't do it in a tackle or anything, it's just on the forward.
Alan Walker with the ball at the back, then Stephen Shingler comes in.
Yeah, Stephen Shingler robbing the ball straight through the middle.
Yeah, yep. I've just been told.
I presume Lanny won't be too happy with giving him the ball there, but hell of a finish. It's probably a one and only one of driving balls for him in his career, and he'll take it. He'll remember that one.
He's managed to get a dive in there as well from a rolling maul try.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's innovation from Stephen Shingler.
I think it's this guy's try where we lose the ball. I think it's in the maul. It's quick play. I think even Donny didn't even know where it was.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I didn't.
Really good defence there to hold up Angus. He's a strong bloke. Keep him from going over the line. He's been in great form over the last few games. 2 or 3 tries he's on, and again they'll just flop over the line as you described it, Jack.
I've got 7 minutes left. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, because. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're saying that he's. That's cool.
So when I found Cordy, after being big enough in his try scoring rate, I thought he was on the line there. I'm sure he'll tell you that he was on the line. JC's nicked it. He's been really good the last couple of weeks. Been out injured for a while. Coming and looks like he's going to do 280s. Really impressed in the Sarries game. Keeps tipping me to give him man of the match. Don't think he's quite earned it today, but he's up there.
Well, we do have to ask for your thoughts on that department in a minute or two, Charlie Walker. But right now, our thoughts really with Pat Howard, and the medics continue to look after him. He's someone who has had a few different clubs in his time: Northampton, Munster, Western Province on his CV for 4 years. Actually part of a really impressive South African under-20 side that included Peter Steph de Toit and Stephen Kitsoff as well. In those colours, Pat Howard won the 2012 Junior World Championship before he set off on his travels around the world playing rugby. He's played for the Dragons as well in his time. Really found a good home here in Ealing.
Actually played against him on that World Cup. We were talking about it during the week. So out in South Africa, they had a really good team out there. A couple of the other boys, I think Dean Hammond, who's with us now, was close to that side, and Jan Serfontaine, Paul Jordan, real strong. And they said at the start they were going to go and win the World Cup, and they did that.
It would have been frightening to be playing against Pat Howard in an under-20s jersey when everyone's a little bit smaller. Was he similar sized?
I mean, they weren't small at that age. The South Africans at junior level, you never really get a small side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's that full commitment and physicality which has got him in harm's way at the moment.
Yeah, don't get down there. You okay? Yeah. Yeah. No, little bits and bobs, but there's not been much. Yeah. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah. Have you been full time now?
Yeah. About 5 years now, something like that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Where do you train now?
Doncaster.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You live down there?
Yeah. Right down there in them Beardettes. Yeah.
Would there be stations like in Twickenham and across the country? It would be all in extra.
So when play does get back underway,
we usually, before all of this, we were going up and
I
back.
don't think it'll be any time too soon, but we'll have 7 minutes of play remaining.
Obviously, because of what's happened, we've all been stationed where we are, basically.
And because of that Doncaster,
yeah, all online. Yeah,
keeping themselves warm, of course.
Because you can kind of bring different bits.
Jack, I guess it's never easy when an injury like this happens, and thoughts are with the player at the centre of it as well. But what's it like for everybody else? And you've got to cool down a bit and then try and stay warm. And you might be at a point in the game where the match maybe is gone, but there's still that remaining moments to play.
Yeah, I think everyone's different. Each individual's different with how long it takes them to get up for a game. But you know what, we've got 7 minutes left here, 20 points down. Yeah, the game's gone, but I think a lot of it comes down to pride then, and I think that's something we've talked about as a team a lot, is that we didn't want to come down here and just dip our toe. We didn't want to come down here and make up the numbers. We first and foremost, we came here to win. Obviously it hasn't gone that way today, but the strength of character of the boys, and there's a lot of desire within the group, and there's a lot of pressure that they put on themselves internally, not just from the coaches, to be good rugby players and to go the full 80. So I don't think they'll have any difficulty picking back up when eventually we get underway again for these last 7 minutes, because this is the last 7 minutes now of action we'll get before the championship starts, and selection's up for grabs. There's no guarantees when it comes to selection, so in this 7 minutes there could be a moment or two moments where that cements your place in the 23 for the first league game of the season, the first league game in 13 months. So it's about standing up and being counted for the whole 80 and going from there, really.
Come on now, I'll get jelly.
It's a desperately
I don't think he's
sad end to
quick, so
this contest, but also to the Trailfinders Challenge Cup. Ealing's inside centre Pat Howard, who is the man down.
It's quite funny watching the other players now. They do 2 or 3 minutes of hands, and now I'm done with that. Linger around, have a little chat.
Yeah, it has broken down in that sense, hasn't it? 10 minutes or so since Pat Howe went down, and the hospital in the vicinity here is under 20 minutes away from where we are, so it won't be long before Pat Howard is receiving all the medical treatment he needs, and the ambulance just at the side of the pitch as well. Couldn't have been quicker onto the pitch. Ealing's medics here.
And then, like, knocks it on, but like takes it with his feet. So I was like, well, there's the intention to pick this ball up now, so it's out, and then yeah. Yeah. And then it was fine, and they didn't lock it, and then they locked out then, didn't they? Yeah.
Ben Ward, Ealing's director of rugby, just patrolling the touchline now. Charlie, just to look at a wider context for a moment, if you don't mind, the Trailfinders finishing on this note, but in terms of performance across the whole competition, you've seen all their games, been with us for 3 of them. In that sense, it's been a very positive one.
Yeah, definitely. Again, something we talk about, I spoke about it at the start of the game, that just kind of momentum and that winning mentality, it goes a long way. And just having that week in, week out, I mean, Jack can probably say the same. He's been involved, as have I, in losing sides, and it's not that fun turning up on Monday morning. So it does make a huge difference. It just, even within the coaching team, you know, the S&C, the physios, a win at the weekend carries through onto the next weekend, and it puts you in a much stronger position. So, you know, to go unbeaten in this tournament, it's been really happy, and the performance has been good. We've kind of played the conditions. Just going on to this game, as I said at half time, I think the wind has played a huge factor in the game. I think Doncaster would have probably wanted to put a bit more points on the board in the first half with that wind, and I was quietly optimistic at half time that with the wind in the second half we could put more pressure and hopefully convert some more points, and unfortunately that's the way it's happened. And as we're here, it's never nice to see the injury, but yeah, we've got one more game next week against Richmond, which I'm sure we'll probably use as a game to, you know, get some players who haven't had so much game time, maybe a couple coming back from injury, or they could just go, you know, our full strength side again, and, you know, kind of carry it into the season. So no, it'll be a good game next week, and then it's, you know, straight into it, as we spoke about. It's going to be a pretty intense tournament, week in, week out, not many weeks off, and we're fortunate here to have quite a big squad, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of players getting some game time.
That match against Richmond not actually available to be watched. It's without offline, so totally behind closed doors, but it's happening next Saturday. And Doncaster, as we've mentioned, unable to, well, they won't have a fixture next week, so a week off before it begins for them against Amtil,
who I think won today. I can't confirm that. I think they might have beaten Bedford. I think.
Let's find out some live results. Final score from Charlie Walker.
It's like Sky Sports News, this.
As our cameras stay on Ealing, but the news on Paddy Howard is that he's on a stretcher with 5 medics around him.
Amtil 33, Bedford 36 was the final score. So a close one.
That's some game at Amtil then this afternoon.
Devil, yeah. Don't look, fellas, don't rush, okay? We'll just make sure he's completely off first.
And Saracens beat Coventry 48-33.
Another high scoring game.
So yeah.
And that's my updates for today.
Thank you very much. And Pat Howard's heading off towards the sidelines now with the medics in tow, and our very best wishes to him.
I think we're more
it was a tough injury to watch, and he has received the very best treatment, and hopefully what we saw with the stretchers on, precaution of course when players are lying like that on the surface. But for the rest of this match, 7 minutes to play, both sets of players are back in action, and Craig Willis is on in place of Pat Howard. So Sam Pocklington with the ball in his hands. A chance to play.
Got a good push on there.
Doncaster's scrum again, getting the nudge on and going right through Ealing. Pocklington has to wait, he's got so much time, and that's looped out. Kernahan was looking to take it out of the sky. Penalty.
Yeah, Gaz is going to be happy with that. We talked about it before the game, but absolute parity there at the scrum, and it's a hell of a drive on. Not easy to do after 15 minutes on the side, just getting cold and doing a bit of hands. So hats off to the front row there.
It looks like more hands training is good for the scrummaging.
I'm sure they'll be the first one to tell you that as well.
Exactly. Conrad Cade now throwing in. Someone who was on the pitch when Doncaster muscled that penalty try from Saracens last week. Now looking to apply his skills to the line-out. Pocklington, Billy McBride and Volpe.
He's carried well all game.
Accelerating into contact, the Argentinian. Tom Bacon now puts his head down and gets through Shingler's tackle. Guy Thompson has slapped the chains on and pinched it out the back pocket. Smid, Hampson now looking to use the space that Guy Thompson's created from the turnover. McBride. Oh, can't take it. Carl Evans actually does very well.
Managed to hold that.
To keep it in his hands.
Again, really good pressure from Ealing in the breakdown there. Something you know is coming, but it's always difficult to stop. And having said that, kick to the corner is exactly the same.
Well, quick apology just for any bad language that you may have picked up from our referee's mic. Shingler pumps that to within.
It's a good kick.
5 metres off the line. Great kick. And Charlie will be coming to you soon for man of the match. So if you get your thinking cap on.
Just tell them.
Gareth Denman confers with Sean Moulton. It's a good performance off the bench from Trailfinders in the second half. They've all performed. Korchik can't take the ball, and Doncaster have an important steal. But Trailfinders again, how good have they been in the second half? On the floor, Sam Graham unable to keep his own ball.
Yeah, Ealing have been really good over the ball in the second half. Whether that's due to tiring legs or just a switch of game plan, who knows? But yeah, really impressed with the 6 and the 7, just speed over the ball and reaping the rewards and feeding the line out once again.
So take 2 for Trailfinders, looking for a 6th try. Moulton goes over the top, and again, lack of precision. Will Holling was the tidy up for Doncaster and breaking through the middle. This is brilliant from the Knights, looking to end with a flurry. Over halfway. Pocklington, McBride, Charlie Foley comes into the line, and Mark Best is there. The ball is going to be hit forward. Advantage, potential yellow card coming if Sarah Cox thinks that was done deliberately. McBride, Mark Best,
You got the deliberate knock on, you said you wanted it.
Gareth Denman, Pocklington again. McBride operating behind the gain line, but there is space out there. Evans careers into contact. Trailfinders go through the middle. Penalty to the Knights.
See, that's just one of the things I spoke about earlier. With what I was impressed with Ealing about is after a line break, playing on top of teams. You see there with Doncaster, they made the bust, and then twice they've tried to go wide, which just gives us time to get back into position. we can kind of go on the hover defence, buy ourselves a bit of time, make a tackle, and then once we're making a tackle on the touchline, we've got a full defensive line to go after teams.
Yeah, lovely break from Will Holland there. I think that says a lot about the mentality. 78 minutes into the game, carrying 5 meters out from your line, no acceptance on the collision, and it gives us an opportunity here.
Lovely ball
great line for
Kyle Evans has cruised through. Trailfinders cut open by Kyle Evans.
Lovely try that.
Yeah.
He's got some wheels as well.
Yeah, lovely play, lovely try. Great player is Kyle Evans. Probably one of the most vicious men I've ever seen into contact, and that's a winger. So I think that says a lot about his style. No airs and graces, very direct, very quick, and a really good finisher of the ball as well. Always nice to see a first phase try, hey? Rarity these days to see someone go clean through first phase, but doesn't make it any less appealing.
Yeah, Kyle Evans, who arrived here in his own car today, perhaps you know the story. He's got a personalised number plate, which almost spells Kyle Evans. Any story behind that, Jack?
I couldn't actually tell you, no.
He's certainly playing it very cool with that try. Stephen Shingler. Now Willis. Fresh on. Ball into Tovey. Thompson and Cordy Reddin help him to the floor. Sean Moulton is missed out. Shingler to Johnston, who shakes across and then looks for a similar hole to the one he opened up with earlier in the match. Makes good yards. Hampson, Cannon, held up, fumbled on to the floor, and Sarah Cox has the advantage for Trailfinders. Well, we will get a moment to have your man of the match, Charlie, but we haven't had a breath since we asked you. Perhaps now.
Yeah, I think it's been a really impressive performance from a couple of people. DJ at fullback's been really solid, linking the backs and forwards, really solid under the high ball. James Cannon again, another 80. Stephen Shingler, really good kicking, controlled the game really nicely with Hampo. But then my man of the match is going to be Guy Thompson. 2 tries, a couple of really key turnovers. It was very close. Adam Korchik's been really powerful at 6 and Rain Smith at 8, so the back row's been really effective, but I think the standout from that is Guy Thompson today.
Maybe looking for a third. James Cannon is taking the ball down. Trailfinders have another.
Is that Guy?
Is that the hat-trick?
I think it's Guy in the hat-trick, just as I've given it to him. I'll take it back. It was Guy.
Guy Thompson crowns a man of the match performance with a 3rd try.
No, we can't change the balls, bud. We can't change the balls. It's got to be the same one. It's got to be that one. No, it's got to be the original. Yeah. Sorry.
Brilliantly effective.
Yeah, when they get it right, it's brutal. So difficult to defend, and the speed at which they get it going is, it's almost impossible to stop. So, really impressed with Ealing's driving more today. It's coming, but they've also used it to tee him up for a couple of other tries. We saw the down and give in the first half, but yeah, really dominant performance from the Ealing forwards, and I think Guy Thompson, rightly so, capping off man of the match with 3 tries. So. Good performance all round.
Stephen Shingler to hit the 40-point mark. And he has been superb from the tee. Trailfinders do go 40 points, 40-20. They win and they go 4 from 4 in the Trailfinders Challenge Cup. They have accelerated throughout the course of this competition, starting with a win on this pitch against Saracens, beating Saracens away, Doncaster away, and now the Knights at home too. They are in excellent shape for the championship season to come. Well, Jack and Charlie, reflections on the scoreline. Firstly, a fair reflection of how things were played out, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. It was close to half time, but like Charlie said, I think the conditions played a massive part in that. And yeah, second half they just ran out of steam, I think, from Donny. It's been 4 games in this tournament, but one of those was the Sarries postponed because of COVID, and Ealing have played a few more friendly games alongside that before the Trailfinders Cup. So they're a fit, well-drilled team. It was always going to be tough to come down here. But yeah, I think deserved winners, and 20 points is always going to hurt, but I think it's a fair reflection of how the game went.
Yeah, I think really positive as well. Look, from Donny's point of view, if they can, I think discipline was a big thing. I'm sure they've spoken about it during the week, as Jack mentioned. Just the driving mauls were where we got 3 or 4 of our tries. If they can take them out, then there's not an opportunity for us, and it also takes the momentum back away from us. I mean, we can see what they do from strike moves. They're a very dangerous side. They've got some really key carriers. I was really impressed with the number 8. Can't remember his name off the top of his carries off the middle of the park, and obviously the winger who scored straight through the middle. They're a dangerous side, and we're very happy with this result and the performances over the last couple of weeks. But there's definitely going to be no foot off the gas over the next couple of weeks.
Well, as we look through the second half highlights, I will leave you in the company of Jack and Charlie, and we'll be bringing you the trophy presentation before long. So do stay with us after the adverts, after the highlights.
Yeah, and as you can see here, forwards dominance up front, driving maul that Ealing got going really added to the momentum that they had, and they're a tough team to stop from that close. You can speak about it all you like in the week, but it doesn't make any easier to defend, and they really exploited that today.
Man of the match try here, which I'm sure he'll be talking about for weeks to come. We'll never hear the end of it in the change room. Yeah, another clinical, probably not his favourite try of all time, but nonetheless a try's a try.
I'm sure by Monday morning that try would have gone from 30 centimetres to 30 metres.
It always does with you forwards.
But yeah, just making the pressure tell there, tired defence. Momentum, gain line on gain line on gain line, and flop over the line there. Always nice to see a big lad get over the line. But yeah, this is lovely. This is something we can really take out of today. When we got our detail right, we looked really good, and like I said, first phase try, you don't see many of those anymore. Off the top move from the line out. Billy sits the defence down well, and it's a lovely disguised line from Kyle, who goes straight through untouched.
Yeah, and back to another driving maul, kind of the story of the last 4 or 5 weeks. Real strong from the boys, and that's kind of, you're not going to stop that from their 2 players, no defenders in the way. And I'm not an expert of talking about maul defence, but it's probably not how you wanted to do it.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's one of those things when you spend the whole game defending mauls, it saps so much energy out of you. Over and over again. In the end, the dam is going to burst, and I think we saw that today. Last 15 minutes or so, it was just a real physical battle that Ealing won that, and they reap rewards from that.
And I think so. We have the fun opportunity now to sign off. So from me and Jack, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Over to a couple of adverts, and then there'll be a trophy presentation after.
So here we go. What may be a monumental season for Ealing Trailfinders begins with a trophy at home. The Trailfinders Challenge Cup is theirs after 4 wins from 4. And Rain Smith proudly lifts it aloft. So Ben, congratulations on lifting the trophy. But firstly, just to talk about Pat Howard, how is he? And that looked nasty out there.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he came to just before the medics got on, but obviously all the correct
precautions were taken, and I think he's okay. We'll go and find out in a minute.
Okay, well, congratulations then on the win. 40 points to 20. Seemed to just get better and better as that match wore on.
Yeah, I thought we were close today to being very good. Doncaster put a lot of pressure on us a couple of times, and especially when we made line bus, I thought they were very good at getting back and then controlling us for the next phase or two, and we just maybe forced the pass once or twice. But overall, I thought we controlled the game pretty well. We knew they were going to have quite an expansive wide attack, and that was important today, that we were able to try and nullify them and try and force them to kick the ball back to us. How
would you assess the state of play going into the Championship for Ealing Trailfinders?
Well, I think we're in a really good place. We've been really fortunate to be able to training throughout the whole summer. It's been a long summer and winter now, isn't it? So It's been a long pre-season. I think as a team, I think we've been growing. I think these matches have been really important for us just to build rhythm. We've got one more pre-season game next week, but rather than just pre-season friendlies, these games have all been really competitive, and I think you'll see all three of. I'd like to think you'll see all three of us near in that top half of the table this year.
You may not want to answer this in the way that I hope you will, but at the start of the year, looking at Saracens home and away, and then this, to win 4 from 4, is that better than you could have imagined, or is it actually what the chart said you would do?
No, look, I think we have a huge amount of inner belief in where we're at and the process we're on to get to where we want to go. We have a huge amount of respect for how good a team Saracens are, so we knew going into those games that we wanted to compete with them first and foremost, and to come away with the victories, we're absolutely delighted, and it will give us a lot of confidence going into the season.
Well, to end with a trophy lift, to end pre-season with the trophies, a little bit rare, and that must have been quite nice.
Yeah, I think we often talk about it as a group that you don't often get too many chances to lift a trophy in rugby, and there's a lot of people that go through their careers without a chance. So you've got to, especially with everything that's been going on in the world, you've got to enjoy these moments when you can, and the boys fully deserve their moment today.
Well, Ben, we won't detain you any longer. Congratulations, and thanks for hosting us today.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
So that was Ben Ward, and we're going to hopefully hear from Sam Olver as well, Doncaster fly half. Well, Sam, thanks very much for coming to speak to us on the sidelines here. 40 points to 20, perhaps not the result, but at times some nice play out there. And in terms of the back line, does that feel like the shape's getting there and everything's falling into place ahead of the season?
Yeah, I think it is. I feel like we've improved week on week, and coming up against tough opposition, you do that. You either get better or you go. And I feel like we're doing that at the moment. It's just frustrating because I felt we were in a really good place at half time, because it was tougher going into that wind, and just a shame to come out and concede points like we did in the second half.
Looking at the season and 2 weeks before the start and your first match at Ampthill, what bits will you be looking to firm up ahead of that?
Set piece, they got their maul on us a bit. I think that's probably something we'll look to get better at, and I think our attacking shape needs to get better. At times it just felt like we were never getting any front football, any momentum going forward. It almost felt like we all had to kick the ball away to get any go forward. So that's areas we can work on. But as I said, I think we're in a good place. We've played against 2 really good opposition, and I think we've put up a decent stand.
And for yourself, back in action again, I mean, you've impressed us on screen with your tackling, actually, particularly. You're only a small fella, but my goodness, you give it to anyone who's running down your channel. How good has it been to just play again and get back?
Yeah, really good. It's been long 10 months, especially in lockdown and everything. So it was really nice in October, getting back, being around the boys and training around everyone, because it gets pretty boring just on your own, gymming and running on your own. So yeah, it's been really nice being around everyone.
Well, thanks very much for talking to us, and have a good bus journey back.
Thank you.
Cheers. Whiteley dabs it onto the toe and goes around the outside. Tom Whiteley, brilliant! Goes right through the middle, 3 options either side, but it's Don Morris.